YouTube. Hey Jazz, check this out. A new one. Yeah. You done, Matt? What jangle? Hey Scott from Baltimore. Hello from Baltimore. Would never have guessed you were from Baltimore. Bucky time up. 2 volume controls. Yeah, get used to that. Oh, I'm good. How are you? Yeah, I never really thought of it being as a Keith Richards telly, but yeah, when I started looking him up the last couple of days. Hey, Kenneth. Oh. Number 11. 11. I was going to make that. In fact, I did actually make that joke when I was picking up my pal Wayne's telly. It was, the guy was on floor 11. So I obviously, it wasn't a voice recognition lift though, but it was a really bad, I was sort of filming it. There's a joke if you look up in Burniston, where they're trying to get the voice recognition. There's two Glasgow guys trying to get a voice recognition thing to go to floor 11, and they're just like getting more and more angry about it as because voice recognition and the YouTube subtitles didn't like my accent. No, I don't think it was this one though, because I just sparked it, so it should be fine. Kit Kats. Yeah, and I'm not fucking to you last week when you told me there's no tellies in the wall. I went to reach that thing and pull the fucking camera out of the computer and had to restart. Yeah, your fault. So I'll just make sure there's always a telly on the wall for you. But this is my new telly. It does have a wee bit of jangle on it. Yeah. I have the same. It's a Vintera. I don't know. Is that a brand? This is a CSL, which is the Charles Summerfield Industries. Something like that. It's basically the exact same. It's a Fujigen factory one. The exact same guitar you can get with many brands on it. It's in the Ibanez catalogue from 1971 onwards or something like that. This one's from 1974. It's got. So that it's not the best thing, but this neck pickup does sound weird. It does not sound like the Seymour Duncan I took out. It's really, I don't know what the word does. Jazzy? And all the phasery things that you can hear are all just YouTube deciding to add that. There's nothing there for me. Jazzy, but the bridge pickup is pure spiky. Could probably bring the bridge pickup up a wee bit as well. In the middle. Or I could just turn the volume down. It's kind of weird having 2 volumes. I'm not used to it on this kind of guitar. Is that the Fender pickup? No. This is the Fender pickup, which it had in it. a 1979 original Fender tele pickup. Also had a Seymour Duncan Golden Era one, Golden Era Scott, with a square hole in the top, JBJ pickup in it as well. So my main plan with this guitar is I think I might be able to sell that Fender pickup and actually end up getting the whole guitar and a Seymour Duncan free, possibly, or something a bit, getting towards that anyway. The guitar was not expensive. It was again, it's like I don't hunt guitars down that much these days. This one just by random chance popped up on Facebook Marketplace. I saw it and thought, oh. It was a wee bit, I think people were maybe a wee bit put off. Hold on. I think people were maybe a wee bit put off because it said it was selling for a pal. So it's like when I contacted guys, the guy's name's Ricky. Here's his phone number. He doesn't have Facebook. So I went old school and phoned the guy up. A guy just recovering from a heart bypass or something like that. Oh, yeah, Mr. Weisick. So that's like we were talking about. You were talking about the one with the Strat head, though. That's the same model of guitar as this. This is it's an Ibanez, or it's not in the Ibanez catalog. It's not actually say Ibanez on it. It's unbranded, so it must be the Fujigen brochure they used. It's a Tele's a model C2323 or something like that, and that Antoria one I've got, it's the same model number. It's just that this is a C2323 custom, and the one that Mr. Whitesnake I think is looking at, I'm assuming it's brown. It's that colour on it, because this one only came in black, and the Antoria one I've got only came in that sort of yellowy cream colour, and the brown, the deluxe, this is a custom, is basically this same model number, but instead of saying custom after it says deluxe. But it's like to be exactly the same guitar. Cheers, Jez. Yes, spike the likes. That'd be awesome. So what do you know about CSL? I know that the imported guitars, the same as a lot of the London shops. I'm not sure exactly where they were from. You won't get these in America. We had some UK distributor. Back in the day, see, before you got Squires and stuff, you only got people, like music shops would kind of group together and then go and buy guitars from Japan, from the Fujigen factory or wherever they were coming from, and because it was really your only other option was this or an actual Fender. I think the prices were, significantly cheaper. But I mean, that Antoria one I've got, I don't get that the lawsuit thing. It's like, well, no, it's a bit different. It's like, I think maybe that was maybe a bit earlier. And what they did is they found like a photo of someone playing one, but maybe they had their hand over the control plate, so they kind of made it from a photo. Whereas by the time it got to this one, they just basically copied the Fender. It looks exactly the same. It does have 2 extra screws in the bridge, and it's got this white truss rod cover. But apart from that, pretty much it's a total. This is when Fender and Gibson started going, hey, no, that's you can't do that. There's even something to be argued about this being better than a Fender one, because look, it doesn't have that 3-bolt neck plate like the real ones do, which are, there's actually one on, I thought they were like between $3,000 and $5,000, but the one I was just looking on eBay half an hour ago, and there was one for $5,000 refinished for a 74. Or it might not have been a 74 one, whatever it was. This basically from the same era. Oh. Late 70s Japanese, yeah, well, not late 70s, 74, because these are the original Maxon pickups, which actually have a date code on the back of them, so I could date them. And they were both the pickups came out as they were made a day apart. The pickups, it tells you what day they were made as well, 1974. Oh, we could all gang together there, Kit Kats, and flag off the PRS. Well, it's the money. It's the money. I mean, I would actually like to get a shot of a real one of these just to see what the difference is. Because I mean, this pretty much just feels like a 70s Fender. I was even playing Scott's 69 Fender the other night when we were playing this, and it feels remarkably similar. It's definitely not pure. Oh, the Fender's 10 times better. No, it's not even twice as good. It's kind of like, that's a Strat though, but I mean, it feels the same, and the condition of it's pure ridiculous. And it was so cheap. I originally saw it and thought, oh, I was talking about getting another J-Pax guitar painted. It'd be pretty cool to do this. And it wasn't until I'd actually sort of looked at it and started thinking about it. It was like, I might not bother doing that. It's a bit nice. It's a bit nice. It doesn't really have even, I mean, okay, there's maybe been touched up a wee bit there. I feel there's no chunks out it, really. Not really. And the neck's got no marks on it whatsoever. Like for being 50-year-old or next year 50 years old. People who paper house wear shit jeans. This is like jeans with a fashionable hole cut in the knee. I'm not going to do that. Mr. White, it does not weigh a ton. It weighs the normal what a perfect Telecaster weight. I could maybe measure it. I don't even know. I've not done this. I'm going to go for it. It's like, I don't know, 3.6 is about average. It's about that. About right. Just at the point where you pick it up and go, yeah, not really expecting it to be any heavier. It comes in at 3.5. So there you go. Perfect weight. Which actually, if you ever read up any thing talking about any 70s Fender, they all say weighs the same as the Sun. 3.505. So that doesn't have a weight issue. But the Maxons were a total bargain. Because it was like, I saw it, it was like, yeah, those aren't the original pickups. It wasn't the original bridge either. And so I knew that. And then I phoned up the guys at Apple. Yeah, blah, blah, got Jim and put Fender pickups in it because I didn't like the original ones. They were shit. Okay. So I went round and we were talking to Happy. Yeah, just looking at this. Is Happy Jimmy Moon picked these pickups? He's like, these are the old ones. Maybe a poly bag. But annoyingly, a poly bag with a hole in it. Because I've noticed some of the bits were missing by the time I got it home. Namely the Telecaster type barrel knobs on it. And I was thinking in the car, maybe see if I can get. I've seen that in the video actually earlier on today. I was see if I can get the original Witch Hat knobs. No, they're in that bag, as was the original bridge Maxon pickup, and the original wide range humbucker. Brilliant. How many different colours of Converse do you have? These ones are black. I bought fake grey ones and fake red ones, which didn't last very long, and I've got actual Black Sabbath ones that the drummer in the band bought. They were too small for him, which actually have, they say black. They've got Black Sabbath engraved on the side of them. So not that many. I wish I could. If you look them up on eBay, I want sort of bargain, last year's model type ones, but I think they're all fake. Up to, so I don't know when they become real. I do quite like them. Actually, I started wearing them because I was in the Black Sabbath band, because one of the gigs we did, the one that's on the wall there, actually, we've got a gig on the 23rd, so come and see us. I forgot to turn on my wee GoPro camera, so after between the first two songs, I kind of stuck it on the side of the stage on a speaker thing, and it fell over at some point and basically filmed our feet. And we were wearing, the singer was wearing like, Nike running shoes and stuff, and it just looked shit. So basically, this year 70s shoes are fine for the Black Sabbath band, but you can't wear like modern gutties, otherwise it doesn't look right. It kind of ruined it a little bit. 7.7 pounds, a bit heavy. That's it. You must be really struggling. You must be struggling to get guitars. Because I'm doing kilograms, but the Les Pauls are the Ibanez Blazer that Scott had, which was the reissue one from the 90s, was 4.5 kilos, so it's a whole kilogram more than this. That was a chunk. Ashtray bridge, yeah. Well, it doesn't have the clip-on ashtray. I've done a video on this exact guitar. I don't know, a year ago or something like that. As soon as I saw it, I was happier. I had one that was an Ibanez Silver Cadet, and basically I looked back at it and I pure loved it, just to see what I thought. And it's this exact guitar, apart from it says not Silver Cadet, Silver Series. Basically, it's exactly this, but it says Silver Series on it, Ibanez Silver Series, and it's got a bullet truss rod. So that probably means it was after 1974, whenever they started putting the bullet truss rods in. But I never had the original bridge pickup. It just has. We've seen red, white, black, and burgundy. It was a punk kid late 70s. We have black or white. I remember yellow ones. They were the cool ones. I remember. I never used to like them. It's quite good for finding like wee guitar screws on your floor because you can actually feel them through the ridiculously thin soles. They're good for the boat. Well, I went through a stage of them being good for the boat because you just get wet feet and they just dry it. So I like them for that. I just refuse to pay the money that shoes are. But you're right. There's no support and they're cold and yeah. No, I admit they are a bit shit. Sand shoes they were called when I was a kid. Although I didn't, they weren't Converse made. I don't know. They were just called sand shoes for some reason. Oh, rivets in the side let the water out. They also let the water in. Yeah, I think they still have them. They still got the rivet on the side. Yeah, I don't know. You get used to them. Basically, it's kind of like not wearing shoes, I suppose. Oh, Crocs, mate. I don't know. I don't know what would ever inspire someone to ever buy them. They're hideous. I do quite. I was going to buy a set of Doc Martens, and I thought Doc Martens were cheap-ish. No, it's like £100. Fuck off. Crazy for shoes. I haven't bought shoes for ages. Last shoes I bought actually was before the first time I went to China because there's a Nike outlet store in Bishop Briggs, and they used to have like funny coloured ones and stuff like that. They were like last year's model, the year before's model. They'd be down like £25 and stuff like that. So that's where I got my shoes, and I had a pair of Nike Air basketball boots, which are my favourite type of shoes. I'm just not paying £100 for a pair of shoes. Fuck off. And they were size 9, and I can't really get away with a size 9, so they're really uncomfortable. But I took them to China and just wore them all the time, and eventually they expanded a bit. I'm still wearing them. That was the last pair I bought. That was like 5 years ago. I'm just too cheap to buy shoes. Cowboy boots. I'd love to have the balls to buy cowboy boots. Doc Martens are not cheap. Was it the Chinese ones I was looking at were £100? Aye, but I remember them. The whole point in Doc Martens, the reason Pete Townsend wore them and the punks wore them was because they were like, shoes of the people sort of thing. They were cheap. They were cheaper than like your Clarks and stuff like that. Not now. Not now. I would have bought them. I'd buy worky boots. If you buy safety boots, they've got no VAT on them, so they're 20% cheaper. So I've got my DeWalt worky boots. But I couldn't, if I was walking anywhere of any significance, I wouldn't wear Converse. Because there's no support and they hurt your feet because you're just like, the arch bit kind of does that. So you're kind of bending your feet backwards all the time because there's no strength in them. Real Doc Martens, I've stomped some ass. Yeah, I think I'm maybe just slightly too young for Doc Martens. Because for me it was cat boots. That was the thing. To get Caterpillar boots when they came out, everyone had to have cat boots. That's the main thing. I don't even know if you still get them. Basically, I'm wearing worky boots with the same sort of thing. I'm not a fashion guru. I'm sorry. I don't really give a shit. How much? £10 for a pair of jeans? Aye. That's fine. First folks to wear Doc Martens were London cops walking the beat mid-60s. Oh, well, there you go. I didn't know that. I know that I've seen an interview with Pete Townsend talking about it. One of any regrets is that he wished he'd bought Doc Martens, the company, before he started wearing them. Because he was wearing them at the Isle of Wight festival when he went through wearing a white boiler suit and Doc Martens. And then because at that time they were the cheapest decent worky shoes you could get. But it's not really I don't know anything about them. I do not like I'm not keen on shoes that don't have the ankle coverage for some reason. I just like that. They're designed for folk with foot injuries. Every day's a school day. Don't know anything about them. I know they were Airwear, which I think Airwear was before you got Nike Air, maybe. Don't know. But I just refuse to buy these things. I hate to think how much Rob paid for those Black Sabbath Converse shoes. I bet you they were £100 or something like that. Or I think they were maybe on a. They were still brand new, but I think they were used. So maybe that's why I bought them the wrong size. I spend the money. That's if you've got the money to spend, yeah. I mean, if I'm going anywhere or doing anything like for download stuff like that, I just wear my DeWalt worky boots all the time. Or if I'm walking somewhere, I just wear the DeWalt boots. I'm not going to walk anywhere. To the car and then from the car to the shop in the studio, yeah. Walking about the house, no problem. But sod's walking a mile in shoes, you just end up with sore feet. And then having to wear Doc Martens to make up for it. This guitar's so fucking easy to play. It really just sits brilliantly. Yeah, what I should do is I should actually just look at sales for these sort of things, or just do what I always do, and just wait until I don't have any shoes left. Oh, yes, I'm learning stuff all the time here on the shoe channel. Doc Martens were used to be were originally used for 60s cops in London. There you go, and for people with bad feet, and you get £100 cheap ones or £300 expensive ones. Oh, interesting. A podcast doesn't matter. It's a new subject. What's what, livesteam 129, and this is the most we've ever talked about shoes by tenfold. Like if anyone's ever even mentioned shoes on here before. So go for it. What we're talking about, or we could be talking about Telecaster Customs and whether I never really hankered after one of these. I'll be totally honest. I wanted a Telecaster to have the metal plate because I think the metal plate's cool. It looks cool. So for me, a Telecaster at one point had to have the metal plate and a bridge that's got the pickup in it. That was my criteria when I was buying them in China to make them a proper telly. And I never liked the ones that had the big massive scratch plate and the Les Paul controls. But this one still has the telly bridge though. So I don't know. Adidas Samba. I know I'm a guitarist, and after the end, was actually advised by his doctor, I think, to stop wearing Samba because he just wore Samba all the time because it hurt his feet. I've never had a pair that I liked. I think I've got really wide feet. Or maybe that was when I was a kid. I remember buying Adidas shoes and they were kind of, my toe was that away from the front, but they were tight around the sides. So I think Adidas are for like people with thin feet, whereas Nike are for people with wide feet. How true that is, I don't know. Rock and roll shoes and hairstyles are a big deal. Beatles had both. Well, there you go. Yes. There is an element of that. I totally get it. And the fashion thing, and it's like it's important. I'm afraid I've never been one for fashion. I've still got the same haircut that I had when I was 16, whatever it was. Well, last time I got it cut. And just wear the same clothes. Until they wear out. If they didn't wear out. Trainers and street fashion. I remember trainers being an important thing when I was normal. But I realised I wasn't. It's like having a Nevica ski jacket and having Nike Air was a big thing. And folk used to wear, and it's like, don't give a shit anymore. I remember the most expensive shoes I think I ever bought were Nike Air Pump. I've actually still got them. They're totally destroyed, but I kept them just because they were like £100. And that must have been in the early 90s, maybe 1991 or something like that. Then you get Reebok Punk. I had Nike ones, and they were like fucking wellies. They were absolutely huge, amazing. Talk about handbags. I know someone who's got a handbag and even calls it a handbag. Doesn't even call it a man bag. Calls it a handbag. Anti-fashion. Look at the Denim Army. Yeah, I don't know. It's like jeans. Yeah, that's that. I don't wear anything else. Well, shorts, bad shorts, cheapest ones I could find. It's like and a t-shirt. When's it ever not been cool? Like from any time in the 50s. I remember a school teacher talking about this when I was at primary school. I'm thinking about which teacher it was. Can't remember. but it was like a picture. It was really it must have been some primary 4, primary 5, so that I mean maybe 8 or 9 or something like that. And going up, yeah, look at it. It's like, what do you think of this picture of a cool one? Is that I was that's pure cool. And it was like, I think it was James Dean. So it's like jeans, a white t-shirt. It's always cool. So that's fine. You do have a bit of a mullet. I was admiring that the other night on your channel. You kind of you're not you really want to get it, so you do a bit of running. You used to be amazing. I can't remember what the footballer was. He used to play for Hearts, and he had like a really tight curly hair, but on the back of his head, he had a proper mullet. And when he was running, it would flap like in one piece like this. That was always a good look. Aerosmith fans were called the Denim Army in the 70s. Don't really know that much about Aerosmith. I mean, I suppose they must have been big over here, but not really. I remember obviously the Run DMC song, that kind of era, but I never really saw that many records. I don't think I've got all the Aerosmith albums on vinyl. I've got the first one, Toys in the Attic, Stuck in a Rut, Night on the Ruts, and Rocks. I think that's about it, and an Aerosmith Greatest Hits, but I think that's kind of, they never sold that much. You know, if you compare them to, someone says, I just assumed the Denim Army was Status Quo, because here Status Quo were huge. I don't think they were very big in America. There was Status Quo thing, Pontiac. Do you remember them at all? Because I think they were huge. Going by the amount of records I used to see, I think I must have seen every Status Quo album from the 70s and 80s, well into the 30s, 40s, 50s times, every single record in charity shops for 50 pence and stuff. I bet you some of them are worth money now. Status Quo and Denim Army, yes. That was just... I remember hearing that about Black Sabbath. People could always find a Black Sabbath concert because it would just basically follow all the tramps, folk that were dressed like didn't dress well. You know, it's like it wasn't the same as going to like a Bowie concert in the 70s. You know, when it would just be like pure whoa, when it mattered. Well, I guess I'd wear good clothes if they were cheap, but I can't be bothered. I want people to go like, oh, your clothes cost 20 quid. Yep. I'm not spending money on it. Didn't hear about Code till a couple of years back. Found a documentary about them on YouTube. See, I think I knew who Status Quo were before I knew about the Stones, Sabbath, any of them. I think because I think they were always used to be an advert in telly for What Everyone Wants was a shop, something like that, and it was whatever you want, whatever you need. It was like pure bargain buckets, 99p or whatever it was they were selling. From that, and obviously Down, Deeper and Down. I think that was an advert for another. It's like, we've got a sale on Down, Deeper and Down. Our prices are going down, Deeper and Down. All right, quite good. I have a Levi's and vintage 1960s Levi trucker jacket waiting for the quote to come to town. Budgie, yes. Oh, I saw Co a few times. First time I went, they were terrible, I have to say. They were doing it was at the 20th anniversary of some album they'd done, but it was a blues album, so it was all blues songs. I didn't recognize any of the songs, and it was terrible. And we were in the Armadillo, and it was roasting hot, and the bar wasn't open. You couldn't go to the bar, and it was just sort of, we're all just dying like, ill. It was terrible. And then a couple of years after that, my mum and dad we're going with my wee brother. We're going to go and see Status Quo. Do you want to come? And it's like, why not? It was really fucking good. And I think I went to see them twice with them. And then I went to see them with Wilco in support at the Carling Academy, and it's Lancaster, the wee guy playing the Music Master bass. And it was a completely different show. I really enjoyed that as well. It was great because he was pure part of the band. Whereas when I've seen him before, it was just Rossett and Parfitt and Rossi. Were Status Quo, and then they had a bass player, Rhino was his name, and a keyboard player and a drummer, but they weren't really part of the band. It was the two of them were the band sort of thing. But when I saw them with the original lineup, it was very much there was three of them, or four of them, including the drummer. I don't know what Aldo Nova is. Oh, they're not as good as Budgie, but Budgie are a bit more, probably a bit more contemporary, a bit more modern sounding. You hear Budgie and you'll just go, all right, aye. That's nothing new. I've heard that before. And then you look at, oh, in 1972. All right. I think there was a lot about Metallica and Megadeth and stuff like that. Got a lot from Budgie, I think. They made them a bit more heavier, but there's a similar relentless beat to them. I really like them. But check out Down, Down, Deeper and Down. Got a Telecaster, which is not on. There you go. I've got a wee bit of distortion then. I want all the world to see that when you're laughing and you're laughing at me, I can all the better again, 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 again. Deeper and down, 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 deeper and down. Telecaster wielding couple are Parfit and Rossi. I don't spend money on clothes. My wife buys them. Yeah, is that not your money though? You don't spend your money on clothes. Your wife spends your money on clothes, possibly. I don't know. Hey, legit question. Yeah, here we go. Any experience with Aria Tri-Sound? No, I've never played one. I know what they are though. It's Tri-Sound, Thorsound. I think Thorsound replaced Tri-Sound. I think Tri-Sound was 3 pickups. I think so. They're very similar to the Thorsound. Matsumoku built. They'll be awesome. The difference between, you can tell from a distance between a Thor and a Tri is a Tri has like a vaguely Stratocaster-ish type headstock. I think there might be first, and the Thor has the, you know, the more, yeah, I'm just gonna say the area. That's what the Thor headstock shape is like. The 3 sides, whereas the Tri-Sound is, 6 aside. But yeah, no, it'll be amazing. I think they're slightly more expensive because they're a wee bit older. I think you're maybe talking 79, 80, 81 type thing, whereas the Thor sound are sort of maybe 81, 82 onwards. So guitars were just cheaper there. Mr. White, who's the modern art lover in your house? You got some nice ones. Not Mr. White. I bet you that. But I've never heard of Aldo Nova. No, never ever. So, did anyone else buy any new guitars this week? More importantly, how's the addiction coming on? For myself, confessed, I'm not buying any more guitars. I was even asked, I think Scott asked me last week, the week before, what's on your next hit list? It's really, Tri-Sound is like the Morris Stella. Possibly, yeah. Possibly, I don't know. Morris is not one I see a lot of, but that's because we had CSL, and you see quite a lot of CSL. Well, when I say quite a lot of, I have seen CSL Strats, but they're like it's like a Strat with an Ibanez Blazer headstock, and I've played what the CSL I've played is a. Have you ever seen a Les Paul recording? It's like if you imagine a Les Paul but thicker, heavier, and worse. It's kind of like that. Hey, Boss Hog. Outdoor Bodies Broadcasting Corporation. Yes, I need to. That's something that's on my list for things I need to actually hunt down and try and watch again. Absolutely. I remember watching that on my black and white telly, and Stony Bridge and bits of it. And the guy, I can't remember what's the guy's name. Kennedy. No, I can't remember what the guy's name. He was in that Scott Squad thing. Him and he was doing the Mad Scotsman, and it was hilarious. I don't think I ever really understood most of it. Jack Docherty, yes, he's that when it was up here. He's got the map of Britain, and it's like Scotland's this big, and England's a wee bit at the bottom. And he was like up here, it's just like Scotland, and the bottom it's just Poofland. It was like, all the people who were arseholes, we just put in this wee bit called Poofland at the bottom. Like, take it, love it. Kevin Gahuli, I think it's Jack Dock. Kevin Gahuli, is he the wee guy with glasses who I've never really seen in anything else? I'm going to Stornoway next week for work. That'll be. That could be two very different things depending on what's the weather going to be like, because it could be absolutely the most beautiful place in the world, I think, or it could just be like a grey sheet where you basically kind of open the window and it's like, with the rain coming in like that. But all right, yeah, there's the sea close. Not that I've ever been. I'll be honest. If you gave me a map of Scotland and told me to point out where Stornoway was, is it on Orkney? I don't even know. Which is disgusting. Too difficult to disentangle. Absolutely a naked video. Oh, naked video definitely had Chancer from City Lights in it. I remember that. I remember one of my favourite jokes ever. I remember actually nearly choking one time. I was drinking a can of juice or something like that, and I watched it in a bit where he was blowing his nose, like, and he was like, pure, and the guy just looked at the ground, screamed, and ran away, and he'd basically blown his brain, was just sitting on the ground. I remember that. I remember the Pratt with new trainers as well. I saw a guy, I think he was playing Staying Alive, and he was walking down. You could see it just like from the waist up, kind of like that. And then it was like, it zoomed out, and he had his big, massive, white, high-tech basketball boots in that he was trying to break in. I remember that. But again, I need to check it out and see if I can find it. I don't even know. I mean, you wonder who owns the rights to these things. Why were they never repeated? I wonder if they were never really repeated because they became outdated very quickly. You know, it's like sometimes you watch things, even Father Ted's a bit like that, and you're like, that's a bit, you can't say that these days, you know, like sexist and racist and stuff. It's like, so I don't know. I have seen the paintings behind you. To be honest, Mr. Whitesteak, I just assumed your wife had chosen them. Being a man of no taste like myself, I assumed it. That's fine, aye. But it'd be interesting to see how much is your Morris? You're saying you're looking at a Morris Telecaster Deluxe. It's the custom. Is it brown? Because if it might be this, it could be, as I said, the Fuji Gen one. Because you were talking about buying a brand new Squire one, and to be honest, I get put off these a wee bit. Actually, when I remember having a few years ago, my pal, I'd like you to put coil splits in. His was the 2 humbucker one. He's like, but yeah, we don't know what it is. No, I paid 500 quid for it. But I was like, if you look at an actual 72, blah blah blah, it's not quite the same and all that. And he gave it to me, and I was like, I looked at the back, and they basically sanded off a fender decal on the front, very well applied, and on the back, see what it says, designed and backed by Fender. That bit was scored off, and it had the IC Squire thing. So I basically paid £500 or £400 for a Squire. So it's a wee bit of a sour taste from that, because he was proper ripped off with that. He thought he basically paid more than that guitar cost brand new. A fake Fender. So it's like, you know, it's not just a case of, you don't want to rip folk off by putting a fake logo on these things. I actually know someone who got screwed by that, and I think once he'd found that out, I don't think he never really played the guitar again and sold it because it had that dirty taste. Obviously sold it as a Squire, not as the Fender. So it's always worrying. The problem is, again, it's the greed thing when you've got like the logo and the headstock. Folk going up here, whoa, Gibson Les Paul for 300 quid. They're £2,500. I'll go and buy that immediately. Oh wow, look, I just scored this deal. It's like we paid £300 for a Gibson Les Paul. It's like, it says Gibson on it and made in USA. That's a Gibson, though, isn't it? So most of these cons run on a problem, and even this, I didn't say I'm buying that. I'm said it's okay if I come and try it. Just I didn't want to make sure it wasn't fucked or it was what it was. It totally is. It is what it was. More than what it was. More than what it said it was. Oh, I like black, like my woman. Yes, that's Airplane. Yes. Taking my baby Taylor. Oh, that's a good one to take. It's amazing how much. I'm assuming you've got, as long as you've got a case for the baby Taylor. I had this problem before. Where was I going? Going to download, and I can't remember which guitar I was trying to take. And it was a mini one. I was like, I'll take that. And I was like trying to find a case for it, and I ended up putting it in a gig bag. And it was the only gig bag I had, and it fitted in at all. Was like a normal gig bag, and you're like, actually, why am I taking a mini guitar in a full size gig bag? Why not just put a full size guitar in it? And then I'm kind of gone off the idea. Maybe a bit different with acoustics, but with electrics, really, what's the point? Unless I know you're limited if you're trying to get it into your overhead luggage in the plane or something like that. It's got to be below a certain size. Maybe but the whole mini guitar's kind of not really worth it. I think the Telecaster does the Telecaster not have a scratch plate? The Tele Deluxe, I think it does. I can't remember. I did see a thing. Obviously I've been looking these up the last couple of days. You can currently buy the reissue of this, or the reissue of the Fender one, for $2,000 new. Fender still make it again. Basically looks exactly the same. But the wide range humbuckers, I watched a video last night up at Scott's when they were. So I put, these wide range humbuckers, they're not. Whereas I don't know what these are. It's like apparently the original wide range is like, if you imagine that's one pickup and that's another pickup, so it's like two pickups next to each other. Whereas I was just assuming that that's basically it's just a humbucker, but it's only got 3 poles in each one, sort of thing. But I don't know what it is. But they're saying they're different. The ones you get now are not like the original ones because they don't sound like them. They're just basically humbuckers that look like this. And then the guy shows it up here. Yeah, so here's the new one. Let's play a $2,000 guitar. Here's a new one, but here's my original 1974 one, and it was like it sounded more like this because that does not sound like a normal humbucker. It kind of sounds. It's difficult to describe. Somewhere in your mini humbucker Gretsch type thing, jangly, jazzy thing, as opposed to being a humbucker, like a normal humbucker. It's a bit different. Deluxe normally have a used one. I think it's quite similar though. The difference being, it maybe does something different right about here because it's just got like a hardtail bridge, and then another humbucker as opposed to having a humbucker. It doesn't have a humbucker in the bridge plate. Apparently, it was Schecter that invented them, and Keith Richards bought one. Like that. So just why not just have the plate but cut to take a humbucker? Apparently, but I don't know. I mean, so much of this stuff's just nonsense in it, really. Does it make a difference whether the pickup is attached to a metal plate rather than sitting on its own? And don't know. Does it make any difference if it's strung through the back? Maybe. The thing is, you've got in order to fully decide that, you'd have to have two guitars that were definitely exactly the same. But even then, if you did it, you could do it with West Tone Thunders, I suppose, or probably with these level of guitars. There's no point in buying. I'll buy two Squires and put different pickups in each one. The two guitars are going to be different. If you bought two West Tone Thunders and put different pickups in each one, you would be able to hear the difference between the pickups because the actual guitars are identical. All the ones I've ever played has been like pure. Yep, this one needs set it up. It's exactly the same as all the other ones I've set up. Just straightforward. They should have 1 meg pots. Yeah, the Fender ones these don't. One of these pots is wrong. This one had been fitted with a push-pull pot. This one is wired. You're going to be bored of this guitar basically by the middle of next week because I'm building a pergola or an outside painting shed for Jen on Monday and Tuesday. So I've already done videos of me taking this to bits. The video tomorrow will be this with the Seymour Duncan and the Fender pickup in it. And then after that, it'll be another video of me taking this to bits and putting the original bridge, the original pickups back in it. And then I don't know what'll happen later. I've tried 0.22 caps, yes. They're different. Well, I built a machine. Have you seen the machine I built? Where is it? Where did I say machine? Yeah, that. A wee bit dusty. I hold it the right way up. That is the right way up. What's going on? Because I'm looking at it. Aye, it's mirror image. I've never really noticed that I'm mirror image. It doesn't say Mad Malcolm, it's backwards. Yeah, so basically this is just an in and an out. It's got a bypass switch on it, and we've got a 250k volume and tone, a 500k volume and tone, and then a 0.22 cap or a 0.44 cap, and you can switch between the 250k. If you've ever got a guitar and you think, oh, I wonder what I'll try, so you just run the pickup straight into, stick a jack socket straight in the pickup into in, and you can decide whether you want 250k or 500k, and whether you want the 0.22 or the 0.47. Ultimately, it's maybe a bit different if you're using the same guitar. I'm just not that. If you've had back in the 70s and stuff like that, when people only had one guitar, you modify it to make it a dream guitar. I don't have one guitar, really. Problem with the old Kunifi, I don't know what Kunifi is. Pickups was that they could easily lose a lot of the magnetic strength over time. I've heard this. I don't know about the magnet strength thing. Because you can remagnetize things, but I don't know. I mean, I remember seeing before, it's like, oh, don't keep your pickups in a drawer all next to each other because the magnets will all drain each other out. I don't know. I've also heard that basically, see, if you just play it, the magnetic field comes back. I don't know. I know you can take like a sword and rub it with a magnet or something. I'm going from King Arthur and the Spaceman film. You can magnetize it by rubbing it with another piece of metal, and you can make it magnetic. So I mean, I don't know. Or maybe it comes out differently if you're, the difference of having like a fridge magnet stuck on the back. So you've got like, poles, just steel poles with a magnet on it, or whether you've actually got magnetic poles. Again, I don't know. I mean, is a magnet just a magnet, or is it different? Does magnets have different tonal qualities? I don't know enough about it. I did change the magnets in a set of P90s from a pal once, and he was absolutely amazed by the differences. Oh, that's so good. That's amazing. Well done. It was like, yeah. I can't say I really heard the difference. But I suppose it depends what it is you're after. I'm not really after anything specific. I mean, the guy who owned this hated these pickups. That's why I wanted Defender ones in the Seymour Duncan to make it sound more like a normal guitar, which I suppose I can sort of get, but I want this because it sounds different. Yeah, I don't want, it's like, we put special pickups in it to make it sound like that telly. It's like, well, I've got that telly. So I'll have this one sounding a bit weird, which it does. I need to learn it. 1 megs accentuate the highs. Yes. Aye. Well, I don't know about accentuate. They don't. 1 megs don't cut away the highs the way. I know that's what why you use 250s, which are the lower value on single coils, because they kind of kill some of the high end. Whereas if you use them on humbuckers, they make them sound muddy. So that's why I use 500s for humbuckers, to make them sound less muddy. Yeah, I don't know. And 300k. What's the difference in a 250k pot and a 300k pot? Well, it's 50 is the answer. But could I tell? I don't know. Again, I think if you were using, day in, day out, you were playing gigs, playing the same songs, using your one guitar in the same place, then yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just not that fussy. I don't really tend to fidget. People who sit there, some people love to sit and twiddle knobs, like they'll sit with their amp and go, EQ and stuff like that. I generally can't be bothered doing that. I don't think I can play well enough to justify that. I go, it's a bit muddy, so change it. I don't sit there and properly tune it out. Changes a mid-60s Rose Morris Ricky. I bet you that Rose Morris Ricky is better than an actual Rickenbacker as well. Well, I used to have an Ibanez one, which will be the same guitar, years and years and years ago, before I knew anything about guitars. That was fucking shit. I hated it. I had a big spiky bit stuck into my chest. I remember playing a gig with it, and I had a big bruise like that right in the middle of my chest plate. What do you call it? Rib cage. That bit, the bony bit there, big bruise, because that was when the Rickenbacker just went. And it was like someone just taking their knuckle like that and just going into your chest all night. So I didn't love that guitar. I bet you it's worth a lot of money now. Use B pots across the board. I don't know. I think I've got a B pot on this tone control, and what I'll show you what it does. Nothing. There. So everything is between 0 and 2. But then between 2 and 10, nada. So that's basically what happens when you use a B pot as a tone control. Vice versa, if you use an A pot as a volume control, you get everything between 7 and 10. So it's like nothing, 7, 8, 9, 10. Some people might quite like it. I think if you're going to do the the Yngwie Malmsteen volume swells, I can see how that would be a good point, because instead of having to turn the pot all the way around to go from nothing to full, you only have to turn it that much. So it must be easier to go wah, 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 instead of wah, 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 wah. You know what I mean? I think they zap a piece of steel with a big electromagnet. Possibly, yeah, because I don't know. Or Nico, I don't know magnets. I don't know. I know there's people who change magnets in pickups and claim it makes a huge difference. I mean, maybe I just put other pickups in. I've got them lying about. And not necessarily expensive pickups, I think, sound better. It depends. I think I'm going to sell the pickups. And in fact, actually, the Seymour Duncan out of the neck of this might be going in that. Steve Vai ones are a bit difficult for me, I think. I need to maybe just give the guitar a bit more of a go. Hey, Space Monkey! I need your advice. My mate swears behind blind he once got a beef kebab. No. I'm having a beef kebab on the 23rd of September. In below the Healyman's umbrella, in below Central Station Bridge. I don't know where you're from, but if you're in Glasgow, in below the Central Station Bridge is a shop just called Kebab that you can get a beef and chicken mixed kebab. So you can get a beef kebab, yes. You can make anything out of kebab, but I mean, this is like a like a skewer kind of like, you get not like I don't mean like the elephant's leg thing, which is like kind of like a. In fact, there's actually quite a lot of beef in the lamb you get in the doner kebabs as well. But yes, you do get. I had one because it was like pure. I'll have a mixed kebab, and it was like after he was cut. I was like, is that beef? And he's like, yeah, it's Aberdeen Angus. And he showed me the frozen blocks that he put on the skewer thing. Yeah. My thinline copy in the end needed specific pickups and pots and cap. Tried many to get a result. I don't know. Were you after something very specific though? See, I'm not really after anything specific. I kind of just because I've got so fucking many guitars. But then again, none of them cost. I didn't spend. If you spent a couple of grand on a guitar, I can understand that you'd really be wanting to make sure it was, your signature model. I don't even know if someone said, right, we're good. Hi, we are a new guitar company. We're going to make you a signature model. What do you want it to look like? I don't even know. It'd be a shocking bird, basically. What guitars do you like? It's like, well, I like all the ones that are on the wall there. They're all good. Yeah. And they're all completely different. So it doesn't really matter. Toad put him at 86 Hurricane is really excellent. Real change all the way down to 0, no markings on it. Yeah, well, yes. No, I mean, I've had it. But I mean, again, it depends on whether you use the tone pot. And to be honest, I use the tone pot when the amp sounds shit or there's something wrong, rather than general. I know it's stupid, and I should use it. It's there for a reason. There's a reason for it, so you should use it. But maybe sometimes I do. Sometimes when I remember to, but most of the time I'm just full bung, fucking let rip. Kebab can be any meat. I don't know, Jess, I disagree. I think you'll find a kebab can be anything you put on a skewer. It's like you can have There's a skewer. You can put anything on that, and it's a kebab. So you could put. You definitely get vegetable kebabs. You just basically just stick a skewer through it, whatever it is, and then it's a kebab. Isn't it? Is that not to kebab? I kebab, therefore I am. So you just go about kebabbing things. You know, you could, even if it's things that couldn't be edible, you know, you could maybe, if you skewered it through half a dozen pickups, you could have a pickup kebab. You couldn't eat it, but I think it would still be a kebab. And kebab skewers are awesome for, see, not on this guitar because it's perfect in Japanese, but when you get screws that have kind of worked out, a kebab skewer, like especially your end socket things, you know, sometimes the screw goes, take the screw out, stick that in, snap it off, put the screw back in again, sorted. If you want to be more clever about it, you can put in, if I'm doing it for a customer, I'll put a wee bit of wood glue on that, but if it's mine, tuck it in, snap it off, screw back in again. Sorted. Kebab, what do they do? Is that the same marketing genius that came up with guitar? I don't know. My problem, I'm kind of, I don't like guitar, but then again, I think it's just because of the prices. But I mean, they're all that price. All guitars are crazy expensive. And how much did it cost for the Squire version of this? 300 quid, something like that. And they're all right, yeah. But my thin line was very low mid with a very little highs. All the body had to thin the beef a bit. Okay, yeah. I mean, this neck pickup is a strange one. I could see if this was my only guitar and I wanted to play normal neck pick-uppy stuff on it. No, it even sound, I like it. It's different. That is, obviously I've used a rat pedal which evens everything out, but even I think basically if you imagine a mini humbucker but louder is what it sounds like to me, to my ears, where it's kind of, it's a bit more chordy. And obviously if you turn it down, it's just a mini humbucker. It's like, yeah, it sounds like a Gretsch pickup if you turn it down. There you go, Gretsch pickup with the volume at 4. But at full, there's too much of it. I use the tone pot a lot. Rhyming full. Oh, is that tone pot a lot? As in use an alpha pot for the tone. I like that. It's a good vid with a guy describing his different guitars. This one goes do 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 do. This one goes weedly weedly wee. This one goes dun dun dun. Yes, I get it. I've heard Paul Gilbert talk about that. It's like, oh, this neck pickup's got a lot of mwah, which I get. Sometimes nice when you get a really fluty neck. I'm using the word fluty, but when when you're playing the neck pickup up kind of high, see, this one doesn't really do it. You get a real ooh thing going on. Maybe with distortion will do. I don't think so. This is not an ooh pickup. Okay, it does. See, it's oohing. I can't sing those notes. And thus proving the ooh thing. But you also get ah as well. 2 volume controls. Ah! See, it's not an ah one though. I don't know. And even then, it kind of depends which amp you're playing through. Ceramic single, no good in thin line. Anuko 3 ceramics went to the Squire Telly. Ideal woman as a meat eater. Yeah. No, but my ideal woman would be a meat cooker. Guitars for trying a guitar out before you get it in Gumtree. Elements of that, yes. The one in Gumtree is more likely to be set up, though, isn't it? I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I've got that many guitars. It's like, to be honest, I could go into. I've said this before about the J-Pax guitar. See if I didn't know what a J-Pax guitar was, I've never seen one, and you put one of them in guitar, and I walked in, the first guitar would go, yeah. Whoa, that one, and it would, just because it's something different. something like this doesn't really interest. I've seen lots of them. Maybe not in person. I've not played lots, but it's just a black telly. Next, you know. Kind of like a PF. The patent applied for. These actually say patent applied for on the back of them. Maybe. I don't even know what pickups I like. I like. I've decided. Hey, Kit Kats, thank you. I'm not putting the Telecaster away though because I like it. But then again, you said you didn't hate this one as much. I don't know if twangy is the word. Not when you're playing distorted. Thoman has a new classic vibes down at 250. That does seem quite cheap. Yo, Yoakum, where's Yoakum? Yo, Yoakum. I don't know. I'm not seeing your message. Mr. Whitesnake is though. But how's it going, man? I don't know how there's any way of getting you in here. Can you start up a secondary YouTube account? And then maybe, I don't know. I mean, as I said before, I've not banned you. Something's gone wrong. The thing is, it's like, I'm looking at it, it's like it's a classic vibe. Is it this model? Classic vibe? That's twice what I paid for this. Yeah. So I meant to use the tone pot a lot. Telly neck. But tone pot on 2, fuzz on high, sounds like Spirit the Sky wonky. Great. No, I mean, yes. My problem is I've got too many fucking guitars. If I only had one guitar, I would maybe get bored of the sound of it and then try other things. I mean, sometimes I do use tone pots. I mean, obviously a Strat neck pickup, the tone all the way down has got. I use a tone pot on the bass now. Never used it before. It's only when I started joining the Sabbath band. I'm rocking that tone pot a bit. Sometimes you need a bit more oomph, but most of the time I've got the tone pot kind of down really low just to get a pure woolly mess of sludge sound. Try to take up as much space as I can in the mix, which is what the tone pot's really for, I think. Chip to the universe, yeah. A Telecaster, why not? Pontiac, are you seeing Yoakum? Why am I not seeing him? As everyone else has. Rocking, Yoakum, well done. Hope Norway's doing you well. How much did you pay for your CSL? I paid 50 for my one, the same as your one. Well, that's ridiculous. But I mean, I paid more than that. I paid 145. So I'm going to try and sell the Fender pickup for 145. Therefore, I got the guitar free. But I don't know. Yes, no, they're really. I mean, if you've got, I mean, it's like, compare this to a Squire Classic. Compare this to a Mexican Fender. It's like it's not the same thing. I love the Telly neck pickup alone. See, I never really liked the Telly neck pickup. I always thought it was the weakest of the three sounds because obviously you've got bridge, both, and neck. But the one in the FGN works. So I don't know if it's maybe just a bad choice. It depends what it is you want, I think. And it might even depend on what kind of amp you're playing through. It might make a huge difference. You know, I mean, my amp's the Sovtech. So basically, I've kind of gone towards the amps that I like are the ones that kind of sound like the Sovtech. So that's what the Laney that I liked, and then the Orange I like as well because they're kind of sound like the Sovtech. Apart from the Sovtech doesn't do clean; it's only got drive. But when you push these things, there's something in it. It depends what it is you want, and I'm not really. I don't like a wide variety of music really. Well, I sort of do, but it's all. I understand, you know, if you're in a I don't know, like a wedding band or a session player, you've got to be able to play funk, and then you've got to be able to play pop music, and then you've got to be able to play. I'm not going to say metal, but you know, a metal-y thing. You know, there's different to be able to do all that. Whereas I kind of just like my one sound. And I'll play all anything I play kind of works with that sound I use, which is not as heavy. Just basically I don't know, just the sound I like. The anniversary edition Strats. Tell us the ones that were originally going for 400. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm racist. Well, I know I'm racist because I hate the human race. Human race sucks. But it's just the difference with the Japanese. It's like once you start getting into them, even when I was working on them, it's so different. It's not well, it is by choice. It just turns out that nearly all the guitars I've got are all Japanese. Not because all the ones I bought were, just the ones that are better. I considered to be better guitars were, so those were the ones I kept. I generally sold all the rest. I don't have very many guitars that aren't Japanese anymore. Got a couple, but not many. I could probably sell all my non-Japanese. I probably maybe get about 10 that aren't Japanese, something like that. Which I know I don't disclose how many guitars I've got, but it's sickening. Yeah, but no, I would get one of these for 50 quid. That's even more ridiculous than this. Although I might be able to trump if I get my money back for that pickup. I got it for free, so that's better. But I mean, amazing. The condition of this thing's ridiculous for being 1974. What were Sabbath doing? You know, Sabbath, bloody Sabbath. Not even done Sabotage yet. I'm trying not to buy new guitars. I know. I'm just. I make my exact words when Scott asked me the other week, "What's next on your list?" I'm not buying any more guitars. But I said that maybe 2 years ago, and to be totally honest, I bought the FGN telly. That was like after I decided I wasn't going to buy myself any more guitars, and it's like I was more curious about it than anything else. It wasn't expensive. And then about Christmas, I was like, I really quite fancy but even then, it turned out to be a buy so good that I couldn't resist it. And then I got Jen to paint some J-Pax guitars and a Flying V, and I've already got a Flying V, so I didn't want it, so I sold it. The money I got for it, so I bought that one. So, and the Tempest, the Strat in the corner, which is basically this but a Strat, as in it's the same factory and about. Well, it's probably a wee bit later because it's got the Bullish truss rod, so it's maybe a 76 or something like that. But it's a similar thing when Fujigen started just copying Fender, not going, oh, we'll make a cheaper version, just going, we're just going to make one that's as good, but it'll be cheaper because we don't. I don't see Joachim. Joachim's I think he's always here. And the thing is, he can comment on my videos during the week. I get comments from him. He's like, and it's like your comments going, I don't think you can see this, but hello, and it's like, okay, I can see it. Fucking how come you don't comment in live streams? As long as he shows up in that wee counter in the corner, it's fine. Spike the likes, by the way. Not everyone has. Don't cost money. Hey, Sloan Rangers, how's it going? Joker may be a ghost. I would probably ghost. Yeah, no, maybe he is. Has anyone ever seen Joachim? Is he real? I know he's got a blazer, but I mean, maybe he had a blazer before he died in 1985. We don't know. Hey, random guys, anyone got a Squire Jag bass? Is likely to take a Squire Jazz bass neck? I don't think so. It's possible, no, because it's a different scale length. The Jag bass. That's I actually quite. I rate the Jag bass. It's like it's a bass Fender never made. So up here, oh, when was that? What 60s? You'd know they never made it until the 2000s or something. So it was like why was there never a Jaguar bass? I think it's 30-inch scale though, so I don't think so. It is possible though. It's not totally impossible because I know that. See if you've got a right. How to remember how to do this? Say you've got right. This guitar is a 25.5-inch scale, right? See a BC Rich neck, right, which is a 24.75-inch scale, but has 24 frets. See if you assuming it fits in this pocket, or maybe you had to widen the pocket a bit, that works. Mind blowing, but that works. A 24 fret one, because obviously the neck on a Gibson's normally 22 frets, so you've got a bit more in it, and it does work to do. It's just basically the ultimate thing is the distance from there to where the bridge saddles has to be the same scale as the neck. So if your neck is a 34-inch scale, it's what's half of 34? 16. That's 32. 17. So it's 17 from there to the 12th fret, and it's got to be the same distance from the 12th fret to where the saddle is. That's all that matters. Okay, your pickups might not be in the ultimate optimum position, but they're still in below the strings. They'll be fine. People argue about not liking a 24 fret guitar, because if you look at a 22 fret, I don't have a 22 fret Gibson. Oh shit, I think that's 25. But anyway, so the pickup is tight up against the bottom of the neck, and that's a 22 fret neck. Whereas if you've got a 24 fret neck, the pickup's tight up against it, which actually means that pickup would be here as a part that makes a difference. I think that's one of the biggest difference between like the sound of a neck pickup on a Les Paul and an SG, because an SG there is a gap like that between the bottom of the neck and the pickup, whereas in a Les Paul the pickup's rammed right up against the bottom of the neck. And I think it's to do with nodes where the harmonic points are on a guitar. Yeah, you've got one there. You've also got one over where the 24th fret is. So you've got like a harmonic conjunction of the realities. Quite mental. But ultimately, just put a pickup. Somewhere between the bridge and the neck, and it'll still sound all right. It might not sound exactly what you're after. Oh. All right. I'm got a wee bit caught up. Why's my thing's turned off? My fag's gonna. It's all we're all going to shit. Didn't buy any guitars for 15 years, and this year about 4. Lots of good deals with people. Yeah, no. Sometimes I still maintain that I don't really find guitars; they tend to find me. I don't. I see a lot of pretty decent buys, and it's like I don't buy guitars to buy and flip anymore. I've done it a few times, but I don't like the karma isn't right. I mean, I could have. I mean, I said when I bought this off the guy, I was like, well, I know that this should be more than what I paid for it, but I'm keeping it. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't pay what this is worth. I don't think. I talk shoes, yeah. Yeah, but you're a woman, that's all right. Sword Ranger, Gary Redfield's Joker was a great Swedish warrior like Thor. He spoke to all. Possibly, yes. I do have a Thor sound guitar. I don't have a Joachim sound guitar. Well, maybe the Blazer. Maybe that's what he's trying to say. What do you mean, all cheapos? Nothing interesting? This is a cheapo. I find it incredibly interesting. That's maybe interesting is a good one. That's when it comes into. I like to buy interesting guitars, and if it's not interesting, I'd like to try and make it interesting. Okay, that one in the end, that's just a white Strat. That's not very interesting, but it is interesting because it's like a Japanese footage gen one. Whereas if it was just a Mexican one, I wouldn't find that interesting. Not saying it's not better or anything like that. It's just like interesting and not interesting is a different thing. We're looking at this Ibanez acoustic bass in the pawn shop. Don't need it, but want it. Acoustic basses are fun. I nearly bought another acoustic bass. I had one for ages. It was a Westfield one, and it was great. It's just the whole my issue with acoustic bass in general is I thought I could play along with somebody playing an acoustic guitar. Not loud enough, so you have to amplify it up. So if you're going to take an amp to amplify up your acoustic bass, then an acoustic bass is actually bigger and lumpier than just taking the wee red bass, for example, which is smaller. That and an amp is so you just use a bass. Sort of. It did sound acousticy, and there was a slight element of sitting watching the telly. It's got a lovely acoustic sound at normal volume, but as soon as you've got some idiot playing acoustic, you're going, "Oh, play along with this." The only way you can get up to any volumes, you're popping it like fuck, try to make as much volume out of it as you can. And when you're trying to get as much volume out of it as you can, you don't really get any nice sounds. You just get, trying to be loud. Yeah, see, I told you Sloan Ranger was a girl. That I got 50 pairs of trainers now, 50 pairs of boots. Don't buy curly shoes. Well, there you go. But yeah, so I mean, I don't have 50 pairs of shoes. Fitted with black strings. The black strings are probably for a sound, but they're not going to be as loud as round strings, so it's probably even quieter. I'm not so keen on an acoustic bass, to be honest. Only because I had one. I did quite fancy a Banjo Sexto. It's called the one that you get. The mariachi bands play. It's like fucking massive. It's almost somewhere between an acoustic bass and a double bass, but you kind of have it, and it's got like a big bowl back. It's about this size, and you kind of see them kind of plucking it, and it's got strange strings. I quite fancied one of them, but I mean, I think it's got 9 strings or funny octavey ones or something, quite like that. An X mod. Well, there you go. Yes, that's what it comes down to. Would if I'd been about in the time of Quadrophenia, I would have been a mod or a rocker. It's like pure, well, one of them's interested in clothes and drives a Vespa, and one of them's just generally dirty and drives a motorbike. I'm going to be the rocker, aren't I? I like the mod's music. I like Vespas, but I'm going to be the smelly one with the greasy hair and all that, aren't I? It's just my thing. Oh. Used to have a freshman acoustic bass, came to the same conclusion as Malcolm. Needed an amp, so why bother having a big chunky thing that might get hit when it gets dunked? Well, yes, might get hurt when it gets dunked. Yeah, I never thought about it might get hurt, but yes, I love the idea of it. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. If I was if you were like in a band, like a folk band, which was 2 acoustics and you playing the bass, yeah, I would probably buy another acoustic bass just because for the look and with the playing sitting down and all that. Yeah, totally, I can see that being a point, but sound-wise, it did sound acousticy though. I mean, the one I had was quite a good guitar. It did sound like an acoustic. Not so much when you amped it up, because the thing about an amp is, for a bass, it's like a bass is basically just wanting to. That's how you could use a PA or a hi-fi for a bass. You just want the sound that comes off the strings pretty much pure, but much louder. Whereas an electric guitar isn't that. You stick an electric guitar into a PA, it sounds gash because the actual amp makes part of the sound. Whereas on a bass or for singing, really what you want is exactly what you're putting in louder. Whereas an electric guitar, it's not that. It's what you want is if you just made exactly what it sounds like unplugged louder, it sounds like you're playing through your hi-fi or straight into the desk. It's kind of, you can do it. Some people can do it, but it's not. It doesn't, an amp, like a guitar speaker, amp only lets certain frequencies through. So there's an awful lot more, the sound, an awful lot more comes from the amp and the speaker. The speaker doesn't, it's not full range. It doesn't give you all the highs and all the lows. It only gives you the middle ones because those are the ones you want for an electric guitar. I tried a double bait. They're huge, aren't they, Ian? They're so big. Did you expect to be playing at that? Oh, I played a double bass is like this, and that's what you were expecting. And actually, it was like this, and you're like, but it's so far away. It's like the body, you're like that. What? I don't think you definitely don't get short double bass players. I mean, I'm 6 foot, so I don't know if I'm taller on average or not, but so my arms must be longer, and I was struggling to get around it. It was like cuddling a mattress or something, It's like I can't see the fretboard. It's like this big. No, ridiculous. Traded? No, there is a ability of trading. You can trade clothes. I don't. I just wear them out and then throw them away, but wear them out and then use them as things for cleaning guitars, basically. Banjo Sexto. How many here? The Mexican bands are great. Yeah, totally. I'd love to go and see that for. I don't know if I would want to buy whole albums or see like 3-hour concerts, but I've never seen that. I bet you it's great. Oh, but yes. Oh, I mean, I started off doing that with the guitars as well. It's like just back. It's possible to do it. I've got the advantage of it to be able to fix them though. That's not my pick. Well, it's mine, but it's not my normal pick. I don't know what I did with my normal pick. That might be there. Nope, that's not my pick either. Not my pick, bastards. Yeah. Aye. No, I pretty much haven't bought a guitar for about 10 years. That was when my problem really started because I wasn't. I mean, originally like normal people, I would buy a guitar when I wanted a new guitar. So I would think, I'm going to buy a new guitar in a couple of months. I would decide what kind of guitar it was I wanted, and then I would try and find one of those guitars. There is now that stopped because I was buying job lots. I'd buy 3 or 4 guitars, with one of them being something a bit special. Fix the 3 of them, sell them, make my money back, make 100 quid, and keep the one that I wanted. And I basically just did that. And then you get this thing where in your head you're like, it's not really my money. It's like, obviously it's my money. Yeah, totally. Because if I sold it, I would get 200 quid for it. But I didn't pay for that because I bought another guitar at the same time, or maybe not even in the same lot, but I made 50 quid on that. So 50 quid of that, well, that's not, that goes into that, and then over 50 here. Because of vintage clothes and undies, yeah. Look at the influence of mod on the world. Mid-60s, the whole world dressed mod. This is my small group of Jewish kids from Tottenham when the hippies arrived. Then I don't know anything about mod. I know mod literally from the film Quadrophenia with the mods and the rockers. That's it. I mean, fair enough if that's what you're into. I don't know. It's a wee bit like I don't really. No, that's not true. I like showing off playing the guitar or something like that. That's different, or telling jokes. I don't want to look cool. That's why I don't have any tattoos. I think tattoos are, is it vain, the word I'm looking for? I know I'm obviously a bit of an egomaniac. I'm doing fucking live streams and YouTube and all that, so it's different, but I don't have any tattoos because it's like, it's just what I'm not going to spend money on making myself look pretty. Yeah, fuck that. Same with clothes to a certain extent. But I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing, and it's totally fine. I run a clean ship. Yes, yeah. So you know that you can, if you turn your underpants inside out, you can extend the wear time by 2 weeks. Yeah. You got a 30-year-old pair of these. I used to check if I'm getting fatter. Good idea. Aye. Oh, new gear. Got a wee orange PCC 8-inch speaker and got a black one. Bit pissed off. Is that you talking about my orange as well? Yeah, to be honest, I remember a point when I kind of wanted an orange amp purely because they were orange. I've got an orange t-shirt, and then I got a trade in. I offered a ridiculous trade for that amp. I couldn't say no. And when I got it, I was like, oh, it's black. What's the point in having an orange amp if it's black? Still great. Right. If someone said no, see, that's the thing. I've thought about this before. If I put it up for trade and someone wanted to swap, so I'd want to swap the black version, which is rarer, and probably if it's rarer, it's probably worth more money, for an orange version of the same amp. I wouldn't want to do that because it might not work. That one works and I trust it. Maybe I would swap the actual amp out. You know what I mean? Orange, very British. They're not any more British than Marshall or Vox, though. I don't know. We're more British than the Sovtech. It's Russian, which is not probably not. And tattooless too. I have no regrets. Not that I don't like them; they look cool. Some cats, just not this cat. I don't know. For me, it's like it's a trifold thing with the tattoos. I don't really like the look of them. They cost a lot of money, which is the most important one, and they're sore. So there's not really anything for me there. You know, even if you were to give me a free tattoo that was guaranteed not to hurt at all, I still don't like the look of them. So each to their own. That's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've had tattoos, but there are places where I can hide them or show them when I choose. Yeah, tattooed boobs. Then, yeah, basically, fair enough. I see a black orange. Got an orange micro terror a while ago. Yeah, I've heard of it. The problem with the micro terror is it's not one of those ones that it's what you meant to do with it. I found this. I've had a couple of wee small valve amps, and it's like, yeah, for gigging and stuff, running it through a 4x12, it does that. But you bought a wee amp. Would it not be really good if it was more like, the Black Star Fly, where it's like it's only this size, but you can play it really quietly and it sounds really good at a quiet volume? It doesn't really. It's never going to compete with a drum kit, and it's probably not great for even. Well, the Black Star Fly is right on the edge of being able to play at a jam. If you've got a couple of folk battering Dreadnought acoustics, you could still play lead over the top, but you'd be kind of maxing out the Fly. Well, that's a problem with the wee valve amps. It's like you have to turn them up to a level to get a decent sound, and that level is play along with a drum kit level, which is not really any use in the house. Oh. Look at those orange Terror. I'm using the wee 3-watt orange mini crush. That's like your the Black Star Fly type thing. Aye, but you've got like a wee amp. The micro crush, is that the one that runs on batteries and stuff like that? Fucking great. It's fine. Actually, when I went to try this out, I asked the guy. This guy said he was recovering from a heart operation. So up here, do you have an app to test it out? And he's like, up here, oh, well, I've got one, but I don't really dig it out. I was like, no, don't worry, I'll bring a wee amp. So I brought the wee amp, and the guy's wife, with quite a deep voice, that's an amp. And I turned it on, and I plugged it in. Because I'd been playing with the J-Packs, it was up at half volume. So I plugged it in, it was pure, and she pure went, and Scott was immediately over like that with the volume control. That was quite funny. I mean, I still think, I suppose it's a wee bit like, see when you get those, I talk about this with hi-fis, someone's got one of those Bluetooth speaker block things for listening to your iPhone when you're in the garden. It's like, oh, doesn't that sound amazing? You know, something like that. It's like, doesn't that sound amazing? And it's like, pure, for something that size, that's amazing. Yeah, totally. Does it sound like a proper hi-fi? Does it? Fuck. No, it's nothing. No, none of your wee shitty Bluetooth things with playing MP3s sound like a record played through a real set of speakers. You know what I mean? But it's for the size, it's fantastic. But also the problem you've got, as I said, it's the volume thing. I genuinely think maybe not so much the Fly, it's a bit shit, but the Blackstar ID Core sounds better than any of the amps I've got if you're playing it quieter than what I'm playing just now. I mean, this is, you can't be sitting watching telly playing at that volume. You know what I mean? That's loud. That's kind of as low as these amps go. Once you start going below that, it's kind of like trying to do a 3-point turn in a Ferrari or try to drive at 2 miles an hour. It's like, come on, I might be doing 150 miles an hour around a racetrack, not doing a shit 3-point turn in the Asda car park. That kind of thing. There's a wee bit of that with the Panda as well. The Panda's really good at doing crap like that. The Land Rover was amazing at driving slow because of the low ratio gearbox. Yeah, I see Mr. Whitesnake's retracted his super sexist comment. Good. Total fuzz, shock, buzz sound once you get used to using them. Yes, I know, that's fine. Just to get I mean, to be honest with me, I've even using the wee Black Star amp. I've been using that wee orange, not brand orange, but so it looks like it's the wee same as the wee Marshall MS2 or whatever, the desktop one, because it clips onto your pocket and it only has using it for the wee red bass for camping and shit. And it's like you get a sound that I could use. That's all I need out of that. Is just a sound that's usable for those situations. I'm not recording with it. I'm not playing in a band. I just want something that you can hear that is pleasant enough, which is kind of what the wee Black Star guitar amps like as well. It's not a case of trying to get the best sound out of, oh, that's a really good sound, I'll see if I can get it better. It's like, no, I just want a sound it sort of does clean up to a certain volume and then it does distortion up to a level beyond that, and it's like that in there you can get something that actually works. So I just get a tattoo of the Pink Floyd pig. Well, Pink Floyd hadn't recorded animals when this guitar was made, but yeah. I don't know, but the things, I suppose it's not going to happen with these things, but what happens if you were, I don't know, you got a tattoo and it's like you change your mind? I want the ability to change my mind. Okay, I've got long hair, but I could change my mind tomorrow and have a short haircut if I really wanted to. Whereas the tattoos is like, you got to laser them off and more pain. No. It would have to be something you definitely, to get a tattoo. I mean, it's like, it comes down to, like it's obviously not happening now, but if I'd managed to make it into the Olympic team for shot put or something, yeah, I could probably handle having an Olympics tattoo just because I was in the Olympics. Or the Lord of the Rings one, where the 9 members of the Fellowship of the Ring all got a 9. You're like, yeah, okay, I can see that, but I pure love the Rolling Stones. No, no, I don't know. Again, money, pain. I just don't think they look right. Russell Brand tattoo. I've not seen what it is that he's been accused of, but I know he's. I can see why people hate him. So it's like just using an excuse. That's like the big Jimmy not Jimmy Somerville. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. Jimmy Savile. I've got a big Jimmy Savile tattoo in my back. It says Shawaddy Waddy. Yeah, that sort of thing. You don't. I suppose you never know, something could happen. It's like like imagine just having like, do you want to be in my gang? The Gary Glitter thing. Because I genuinely, I can't. Obviously, don't like it now. Can't like it. It's not. It's just. No, do you want to be in my? It's like that was an alright song. And whoa, rock and roll. Yeah, they're all right. So, but now you can't. Not now. Not now. Jewish rockers. I forgot the biggest, Mark Bolan, East End as well, former original mod. Really? I don't know. That's probably, it depends what you go for, what you're interested in. It's totally fine. It's totally fine if that's what you're interested in. As long as you're not interested in something that doesn't hurt anyone else, then I suppose the same thing about, feel a wee bit the same as like trans and gay. It's like, yeah, totally fine. I've got no problem with anyone like that at all. And it's like it comes down to, it's like even I've become less homophobic going like that, as long as they don't try and talk about bumming men to me. It's like, but they're not, because normal people wouldn't do that anyway. It's like talking to some guy and they're like, I was out shagging birds last night. It's like, not my kind of person anyway. It's only assholes that are like that anyway, so that's fine. Just like find some common ground. We'll not talk about that. Not like they're, Tories or something like that. Which I suppose you just have to not tell me. Don't tell me and then go, yeah. Those riffs are anti-Semitic. I don't know. Who's actually, I saw an interview. I've been watching a bit of, I've been watching a bit of Black Sabbath interviews and shit recently, but that's because YouTube algorithm obviously watched one a couple of weeks ago and they keep coming up. And it was Geezer Butler talking about he was at his granddaughter's end of year school party thing, and there was a band on and they played Iron Man, and he's sitting there watching it, and it's like a Catholic school. They're playing Iron Man, which, I mean, Iron Man's not anything no Black Sabbath stuff's anti-religious, but it's seen that way. And it was like, who was it? Was it Parent? I think it was their daughter's playing guitar, and it's like she's showing her grandpa how to play the guitar, playing Paranoid. And he's just like, that's not how you play it, playing it wrong. I would love to see her guitar teacher's face, which is like, I was talking to my grandpa, and he says that you showed me how to play Paranoid wrong. Is that about who's your grandpa? Is that the guy who wrote Paranoid? Yeah, hilarious. Got my first two channel. I've guys married purely because my husband hates them. Oh dear, that's a good start. Oh. Yeah, okay, Ing does tell a story. Yeah, maybe if something happened, maybe if I won a Grammy award or did something. Yeah, maybe. Bolan invented glam. I don't know. I used to be a huge T-Rex fan. Well, when I say I used to be, one of the first tapes I ever had that I liked that wasn't current was a T-Rex. Children of the Revolution. Really got that. Fucking loved that riff. Just because it was kind of heavy. I have to admit, I've never really come across a T-Rex album that I thought was pure banging all the way through. That original greatest hits tape that I had was, I think it was called Teenage Dream or something like that. It seemed to be banging all the way through, but all the records I bought, the Slider and Electric Warrior and a couple of, none of them were really my thing. I mean, yes, obviously I had Get It On it, all that shit. Oh, the songs I still like, but just not quite my thing. And I'm talking just musically. I'm not really. I didn't. You look at the cover and go, "It looks like that." Doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me what a band looks like. 855 Strat 8819 Austin, Texas. How's it going? If you expect to like that, be awesome. Find a common tarp. guys with tribal tattoos that say they're into art and never seen our collection. I remember seeing a meme at the first time. One of the first times I wrote on Facebook, and it was showing you people with tattoos and what they mean. One of them was just like tattoos all over their face, and it was just "Give me attention now," and one of them was like pure the tribal thing, and it was like pure "I have no imagination whatsoever." It's up to you, whatever you like. No tattoos mean going to heaven. It's like you just got to believe to go into heaven. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. Jog Up Two Little Boys by Rolf Harris was going to be played. Yeah, that's a really fucking deep song. Not deep in the record. Just not in end route. That's good. I've actually got the record with that on it. And for some reason, the thing I remember about that was like, see, on the back of the record, it's got like a bass and treble like dials that you fill in. You're meant to take a pen and put on the actual type, whatever the record company was, had a wee thing on the back of the record for like a bass dial, and you put it on at what you wanted the bass to be so that you could get the premium sound for this particular record. You'd be up here, oh, so Rolf Harris album, how do I want to listen to this? You look at it and go, oh, I want the treble at 6 and the bass at 2. That's the sound I like, bizarre. These things, don't do that. But is that the Two Little Boys was a, now it's all different. I don't know how creepy Rolf Harris was. I know he did wrong things, but it's the difference thing about where does it come in? It's like fucking you're mad pedo, and it's like it turned out you were 18, the girl was 16, but she told you she was 18. That's not the same as Jimmy Savile, rounding up children and taking them away to his special holiday home. That's okay. They both ultimately did the same sort of thing, but not. The big difference. Slider and Electric Warrior, perfect 100%. Maybe I to be honest, I've not listened to them in ages. They never caught my. I've not listened to the Slider many times, but I've listened to Electric Warrior a few times, a good few times. But it wasn't my thing. The way Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Caravan, the Stones were. There's a taste thing involved. I don't dislike it. I've not been at the Burrow collection forever. I remember going there one time. I was at primary school, and it was like we're going to paint somebody dressed up in a suit of armor. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll be the one dressed up in a suit of armor." So I didn't have to do the drawing, and so I put on this suit of armor, and I was sitting there like that. My hand was hurting a bit, and I went, "Ugh," and the whole class went, "Oh," because it sliced my hand open, and there was blood everywhere. And I just remember the person who'd taken the tour was just like pure handing me bits of paper with his phone number on it and stuff, saying, "Look, if there's any problems, it's not the Burrow, it's me. I did it." And it was like pure. I don't know how. Obviously, I was like pure. I do. Just cut my hand. That's the armor. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And I just told my mum and dad. So I got this bit of paper with like the phone number and who to sue and all. And mum's just like, "What, you just cut your hand in a suit of armor?" I was like, "Well, the kids, you cut yourself." So it was all right, but it could have been very different. I suppose if I'd been a different person. I think that was probably the last time I was there, which is disgusting. I admit it. It's got a telephone. By BBC Sound Effects Volume 4, I've probably got it. I've got a few of them. The one of the 40 horsepower outboard motor is very accurate. I've got some of the BBC sound effects. The stream took a turn. It did. I don't know. Well, it's just a topic thing. Get back to guitars if you want. It's a spiritual world. Some will survive. Seek shelter in the arms of love. I'm going out to Lynyrd Skynyrd Freebird to expect everyone at my field to join him with his supplied air guitars. Fair enough. I would maybe like everyone to listen to the entirety of Trout Mask Replica up just at that point. Me and my pal Martin, I haven't done it for this is probably 20 years ago. We used to have Captain Beefheart Appreciation Night, and we used to sit there, and it was like we did it maybe half a dozen, 10 times. We'd sit there and we'd roll a big 5 Skinner each and sit there and we'd have Trout Mask Replica on CD up just at the volume where you could no longer talk. Just that, that's right. No, that's fine. That's just too loud. And we had it there and we would listen to it in its entirety in one sitting. And we did it half a dozen times in different locations, and it was fucking amazing. And I ended up absolutely loving it. The thing about it is, see, after, it's like if you, the first song you listen to after listening to Trout Mask Replica Too Loud was absolutely glorious. just because it was like, oh my God, a rhythm, a melody I could hum. It was like, it didn't really matter what you put it on. So you'd listen to Trickmaster Replica and you'd put on, the Eagles or the Beatles or something. It would just be like pure, whoa! Because everyone else would be listening to just for an hour, just for madness. So yeah, that's what we got. Should we explain the boroughs to our international friends? Is the borough collection not somebody from the British Empire that went round and just bought shit from all the countries, just stole it, killed people, and then put it all in one collection, and then made it free to the public? I don't know whether it was a good like. The glitter material was written, played, and produced by Mike Lander. He did string for the Beatles and many others. Glitter was just a singer, possibly. The glitter, sorry, possibly. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a wee bit behind in the chat. I think we're going along. To separate the artist from the art. I don't know. It just boils down to, I suppose, it's the same as anything else. There's two types of music and there's two types of art. There's stuff I like, there's stuff I don't like. And okay, I might ultimately, when you learn more about music, you can start analysing it and going, well, why don't I like that? Or why do I like that? Why is that amazing? But ultimately, yeah, they like it, you don't like it. And that's my look. And I suppose it can't really be wrong. I can disagree, but it can't really be wrong. If you're just like, oh, I like, it can be wrong because you might like Gary Glitter. I don't know. Oh. Look at Shatner. Is Shatner? Is Shatner done anything wrong? I don't know. That's one of my favourite super racist jokes, which I can't even say. I think I said it before in one of these streams, but I mean, I'm getting demonetized anyway. I decided I was just going to get rid of the adverts, so it just wasn't monetized. I thought, fuck it, just let them demonetize it, bastards. Obviously, I'm drinking, talking shite, I don't know. I'm not being racist or sexist or anything like that, unless I think it's funny, because I'm not. But I don't know. Maybe it's something you lot are saying. Shatner's a good example of, I don't know. Was it someone put up on I saw on Facebook the other day? No, it wasn't Facebook because you couldn't put it on Facebook. It was an interview with Sean Connery, and he was talking if it's okay to hit a woman, and he was like, pure, well, yeah, I mean, it's like if she's not listening to you, it's like not only with the back of the hand, it's all right to give her a good slap, and it's like, well, I haven't heard anything new for years. Actually, I know. Well, I mean, that's when I do hear something new, it's like pure, so I end up going mental for it. For me, it was really maybe The Darkness were one of the first bands that I remember ever hearing. Mind you, the first time I saw them was the first time I was ever at Glastonbury, the first time I ever heard them, and they played the song which is just kind of like that while we were walking down from the tent. And that was like, oh my God, there's actually music that's from a modern band that I like. Wow, that was what, 2004. And then after that, it was System of a Down. Oh my God, I maybe just never heard them because I thought it was a really crap name. But and then it was Baby Metal. And I think, to be honest, that's the last band that I've really, smaller extent, Nights in Sidonia by Muse maybe. But I mean, yeah, it just depends. Hey Tam, my vintage branded gold top is the very same truss rod cover as that lovely telly. Has marketed where it came from. Does it? The white plastic one? I've honestly never seen that before. But vintage are good from what I've seen. Isn't a Les Paul, which I'm not a huge Les Paul fan. But a fair whack of my not liking Les Pauls is how expensive they are. So you've got a vintage one, so it wasn't that expensive. So that's, it gets a fair way through being more on my good side than any Epiphone or any of the expensive Epiphones or a Gibson one. Hey Jess, There's a wow. There's a proper. What do you reckon? The Welsh 20 mile an hour speed limit was what was previously 20 areas are now 20. The speed limit it's very much depends on where you are, doesn't it? But I mean, ultimately, yeah, fuck it, 20 mile an hour. Yeah, why do you need to be there faster? Just leave earlier. You know, I mean, I'm not like one of those people. Oh, you know, the anti-Jeremy Clarkson thing. Just get 20. You just get used to it. As the answer to that, I just got see when I got the Land Rover. It did do 70, or it did 80. I had it up at 80, 85 once, even though the actual clocked speed limit of it's 81, but it did 85. But I mean, my God, did it feel like you were going into hyperspace. As soon as you hit above 60, the Land Rover, you know what I mean, it really was. You really felt like you were fucking breaking the sound barrier. At 50, 55, it was relatively smooth as a Land Rover can be. So I just got used to driving at that. So when I started driving the Panda at the same time, I just drove at those speeds, and it's fine. You just get used to it. It's like I managed to get at that time. I got 92 miles to the gallon at the Panda going down to download. I was just driving at 55 mile an hour, and it's like once you know the problem with driving at like 55 on the motorway is if you've been doing 70 and then you slow down to 55, it seems slow. But if you were driving 55 at the start, yeah, it's fine. You just get used to it. So no, I think if it well, ultimately, is it going to save anyone's life? And the answer probably is yes. Well, yeah, totally. We'll be getting it soon now as well. The 20 mile an hour thing, because it's just not very. I mean, maybe they should have like a review of bits of road, because some bits of roads, you know, the national speed limit 60. There's bits of road that you can't drive it at 60. And like you probably could in a Ferrari, but you know, it's like the Panda doesn't go round these bends at 60. It's like, well, probably, maybe it does. But I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't have any problem. Oh. And you should be shilking, not shatting. Well, possibly. yeah, okay. Very good. I'd punch Clarkson just about to give the boys a laugh. Hate that man. Yes. Hey, Tam, you bought that Fender 85 Red Knob. It's great. Don't see what the big fuss is about. I mean, it's not as pure amazing as you thought it was. What you'd probably find if it got a really good rating was if at that time you were looking at an amp that cost £100 or £150, all the other ones that were that price probably weren't as good. Is probably why. Now it's still decent, but it's not pure amazing. Whereas now you can buy like Black Star, anything. You know, because now things are a wee bit different now because you've got YouTube reviews and shit. You can look stuff up and know more a bit about it and do research and stuff. Whereas before you just went into the shop and went, "Oh, what kind of guitars you've got?" And that's where things like this sold well, which they don't sell well now because people don't go into a guitar shop and go, "I'm quite fancying a Telecaster type thing." So they try the Fender, they try this, they try whatever other ones, and they would buy the one that played best and felt right. Then it's like, I mean, I can see, depending on what the situation is, whereas now obviously you look online to see what the reviews tell you rather than actually just listening to these things. Kind of mental. Is 20 miles an hour most built up areas in Scotland already? Probably is. I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't notice. Of course, I noticed, but I don't drive fast anyway. I don't see the point. But your car, Scott, I'm a wee bit. I've got used to it now. I do what I did when my dad used to drive, where I would basically just not look at the road and pretend it was nothing to do with me. I don't really see the point. If you're late or something, I suppose I can probably get it. Maybe if I had a really fast car or something, maybe I would want to drive faster. But ultimately, I don't give a shit. I always had sports cars. Driving a V6 at 20 miles a bit of a challenge as you feel your fuel gauge drop like a stone. Yes. Yeah. I mean, hence why I've got my super isn't allowed into town Fiat Panda, the diesel. It's like just fuel consumption. Yeah. There we go. I don't want to be slow, but I mean, I had a van called a Citroen Berlingo, and it had like a 1.5 litre not turbo diesel engine, and basically I drove that at full pelt all the time. It wasn't fast. It wasn't as fast as somebody driving like a 2-liter BMW slowly. But I would just be just as fast as it went. That's fine, you know. So there's an element of it, but I never really struggled that much with. I don't know. I'm not racing people though. I don't sit at lights and try and race people. I'm not interested. But I mean, yes, there is. I know there's an element of if you've got a big enough engine in your car, sitting at 60 or 70 in the motorway can be super fuel efficient because the engine's just at tick over. I see that. What's this? Is Jez like the panda that chipped a guitar? Yeah, Jez, I called my car a banger, and I was fucking in it. I was getting in it. Oh, you brought the banger. I was like, shh, shh. And then I took that weekend. I took a guitar home and I had it sitting in the back like I've done many times, reversing it a drive, which to be fair is 45 degrees. I heard it go dunk, and what it did is the guitar body hit off the metal rails that the seat's on, and it took a big chunk out of it, and that was Jess's fault, not Jez. Aye. So it was all done in humour, but it wasn't my fault. Mind you, saying that, it was like we were around at was it last Wednesday, and we were doing up a couple of guitars for sale. We heard this noise, and she basically dropped a guitar body. Like I think she was carrying other shit, and it was basically the guitar that looks like that. Dropped it onto concrete paving slabs. It's been boing, 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 and it fucked it. That wasn't a chip. That was I mean, it doesn't matter what guitar you've got. If you take all the parts off it and then drop it from 3 feet off the ground onto concrete paving slabs, it's going to get chipped. Yeah, pretty bad. Joachim, Ibanez Blazer 550. Yes, you're maybe alive or something. Well done. You're back. Fantastic. Yes, I really have no idea. It was nothing I did. It might have been, maybe you said something, or maybe it was translated badly or something. I don't know. Oh. I drive a 20-year-old 1.2 Polo. My dad bought it new, and when he had to give up driving, I got it. It's a fun car to drive, but it's cheap. Well, there must be fun driving, can you not? I remember seeing James May, who I used to get told to look like every time I was working as a. I used to wear a stripy rugby top as well, but I'd always with my hair tied back with a cap on when I was working as a removals man, and then occasionally we'd do overnighters and shit. And after I'd obviously take my hair down, you'd see the wee guys I was working with. I'd be, fuck's sake, look at your hair, you look like James May. But he was talking about he used to drive a Fiat Panda as well at one point when I used to watch Top Gear. And his point was like, yes, if you're driving around a racetrack, it's fantastic having a Ferrari, doing those corners at 160 mile an hour and all that. But if you've got a Panda with a wee shitty thin tires and all that, you can drive within the speed limit on country roads and be on the edge of grip, and it's just as scary, sort of. Yeah. Yes, I'm glad you're back. Joachim, we have missed you, although I knew you were there. I need to start playing the Blazer, but there you go. Yes. Blazer 550, yeah. That's just rubbing it in because mine's a Blazer 450. I think the 450 is my one. The 500 is Joachim's one, but doesn't have a trem. The difference between the 450 and the 550 is Joachim has a painted headstock, glitter paint. Mine doesn't have any paint anyway, so it wouldn't make any difference what color it was. So it's got a matching headstock, painted body, and he's got that bastard and tap thing, which mine doesn't have, which is really fucking annoying. Got the same pickups. Ibanez Super 6s, so they're exactly the same, apart from he's got Super 6 taps, which have got a tap on them, which means you can reduce them down to vintage, which I wish mine had. I kind of, because I'm actually talking about that, that's what that has. That's the 400, the SC 400, the SC 600 has those pickups, but it's got a coil tap switch on it. And I thought, oh, I've already done that. This Blazer's going to be amazing. I'm going to be able to get that tap switch. And he looked in the back of the pickups, it didn't have the extra tab on it, which is really fucking annoying. So yes, I would. If it wasn't for that, I would argue that no, Joachim's guitar is exactly the same as my Blazer, but it's not. It's got the tap thing, so it's better. Except Joachim as your Lord and Savior. Yeah. Patron saint of Blazers. Yes, go for it. Blue plus headstock brass whammy bar, and also my first electric guitar 1984 from you. There you go. Can't have been, well, it must have been in the shop for a while because they didn't make them then. So mine's an 81, but it's from the 82 catalogue. I think, but maybe not. Aye. But you must every time you play that, you must be going, I'm so glad I kept that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, my first bass was a Westone Spectrum bass, a Westone Spectrum DX, so it wasn't even the cheapest one, and I fucking hated it. I sold it for 20 quid. It'd be worth 200 now. So I always regret selling that to a certain level. I more regretted selling my Ibanez, my Aria Pro ZZB bass, which was fucking amazing. I fucking traded it in against an Epiphone EBO, which is shit. And I always regretted that, but I got the same one back. No, I'm not as keen. I think, to be honest, but the reason I didn't like that guitar, the Westone, was because the strings were ancient on it and it needed set up and it was dirty. Now, obviously, I would have stripped it down, put strings on it, cleaned it, and set it up, and it would be amazing. But there you go. Yeah. It's Missing Records in Glasgow's 39th birthday today. Wow. Who knew? I didn't know. I didn't even know Missing was there for years. Where did Missing used to be? Where was Missing the first time I saw it? I think it was the first time. Was it? I don't even remember where Missing was the first time I saw it. I remember it being on, was it Wellington Street? It was kind of on the same block as Victor Morrison. It was a fucking huge shop. I remember it being in there. I remember it being round, if you go in below Central Station Bridge and go round on the left. I remember it being in there, and I remember it being actually in below Central Station Bridge. I think it... No, because the first time I was in Missing, it was round the corner next to Ivory Blacks, where we're playing a gig. Hope to see a lot of you there on the 23rd. It was next to that. And I'd never seen a record for 25 pence before. You didn't get 25 pence records anywhere else. You get them for £1 or £2 for £1. You never get 25 pence. And I saw Cat Stevens' Greatest Hits. And I remember the night before I was watching Shooting Stars, which is the Vic and Bob show. And one of the questions was, guess what I've got in below the table? And everyone had a guess, and it's a Cat Stevens Greatest Hits LP. And it was that record that I saw the following day or a couple of days later for 25 pence. So I bought it because it was the first record I'd ever seen for so little money. And it was fucking amazing. Cat Stevens Greatest Hits is a banging album. So that's where Missing was the first time I ever saw it. Yeah. They're in Oswald Street now. Really? So Oswald Street's... isn't it? Is that not where the Brill Building used to be? Kind of the horseshoe-shaped one round the corner from Record Fair, which is my all-time favourite record shop. I must have bought over 1,000 records in that the Record Fair with a Y shop. Got one or two Harley Bettons. I've got no problem with you having one Harley Benton, but you've got two. That means unless you bought them both on the same day, you bought one and thought, oh, this is good, I'll buy another one. Really? Okay. There's a purple Blazer here, 650, not bad, looks mint. And that's been painted, unless it's one of the more modern, well, when I say more modern, the 95 reissues. The original one Yoakum's got only came in two colours. It came in what I'm going to call Candy Apple Turquoise and Candy Apple Red. Only that one. The one... Yes, because the one I played, which I tried to buy off Tony and Blitzkrieg, but he wouldn't sell it to me. Because one of you guys bought it. He wouldn't sell it to me. That one was Yoakum's one, the 550, and then a couple of weeks later, it was the guy in the Black Sabbath band was like, what do you think of this? You're talking about an Ibanez Blazer. There's one for 25 quid. Is that? That'll be sold that'll have sold in 10 minutes. Is that? The advert's 4 minutes old. Phone! An emergency drive over to Edinburgh at 9 o'clock. Was that up here? I was kind of thinking about going to bed. It was up here. I'm in my pajamas. Was up here, right, I'll come and get it now. I'll be there in an hour. He was like, you still be up in an hour? And the guy's like, yeah, okay. So it's like fucking sure. Literally, trousers on, in the car, go! Aye. What Harley Benton? Yeah, go. Let's now that Yoakum's on, what Harley Bentons did you buy? Bet you I hate them. I don't know. I haven't seen X-Paps for a while. Where's he? He coined the steam team. Yeah. Yeah, the cult of Yoakum, why not? Wellington Street was where I started shopping and missing. Wellington Street. Do I remember? The name rings a bell. Wellington Street. Where's Wellington Street? Wellington Street's that one I was talking about with the big. It was like a downstairs well. The shop was fucking massive. I remember buying one of the best CDs, our best albums of all time, and they had like pallets of obviously nobody bought them shit CDs, and it was a Gary Moore, Rocking Every Night in Japan. I didn't actually buy the CD because I bought the record because it was 50 pence, whereas the CD was like, this is back when you'd see a CD for under a tenner. But a CD for under a tenner. But if you've never heard Gary Moore Rocking Every Night in Japan, it's fucking amazing. That's what really got me into Gary Moore. Sorry, not Blazer, RS440. Yeah, you got to look. Oh, I know the one. I've got a video, one of them, my pal, John Carter, has the RS440, and it's not just purple, it's kind of purple to pink fade kind of thing. It's not just the one, it's not block color. It moves about. The RS440, yeah, lovely. 1986. Oh, 86. Wow, for $600, Scott would probably. That's probably got the. What's the bridge on it? Does it have the Edge bridge? If it doesn't, know someone will buy it. Wellington Street is around the corner from where Victor Morris. You were well right. Yes. No, I think I was in Missing before that. I'm pretty sure that Missing, I remember being like if you go in below Central Station Bridge towards Victor Morris over there, immediately on the first street going down the way, where Strawberry Fields used to be, is where Ivory Blacks is, where we're playing a gig. Come and see us. It was one of those shops on the left. I think that was the first time I ever saw Missing. Oh, we're a wee bit behind Tam. Also, no, I meant that the amp is great. Keep hearing Holland's solid state red number crap. Oh no, I thought the red knobs were meant to be really good. Red knobs and broomsticks. No, my pal had one. It was a Fender Rad. It was called, and it was really good. And iridescent purple two-tone. Yeah, it's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, Paul Gilbert's got one of them. If you look up, I don't know which video it was, but Paul Gilbert buys Ibanez Roadsters and shit like that. I don't think it's 1986, so I think it's 1985 or earlier, because that's when it had the. Oh, I'm not good at. Mine's a hard rocker, isn't it? The one on the Roadster. There's a pro rocker and a something else that sounds a bit like that. But they're I think the bridges are meant to be all right, but they wear out and you can't buy parts for them. And you can't just plop a Floyd Rose in to replace it. That's for something like the Ibanez Edge. They're pretty good, because the bit that wears out is actually the reason it's called Edge is because there's a wee much harder metal block. See the bit that actually sits against the posts? That's kind of made of super hard steel rather than what the rest of the bridge is made of, so it doesn't wear out the way a lot of the older ones do. But even if it does wear out, you can just plop any old Floyd Rose in one of these or something. Well, I mean, if you don't like good guitars, it's totally fine to buy Harley Benz. I get it. They look just like real guitars. I'm sure they do one of these, probably for about the price I bought this one for. Missing a back in Oswald Street. I think about it. Are they? 999 are playing Ivory Blacks. I don't know who 999 are. I've never even been in Ivory Blacks. I remember going into Strawberry Fields once, and it was terrible. You used to get these places that you had to. There was the only people that were there were people you brought. So basically, every time I went to see a band who's I was pals with or something, you'd go in and it would only be you'd know everyone, because everyone was only the people they'd managed to convince to come. You didn't. There was zero other people there. It might be a bit different. I don't know. I mean, maybe folk will come and see a Black Sabbath band who don't know us. Maybe. I don't know. To be honest, I'm not a huge tribute band. Classic punk band, probably well worth the tenner to go and see them. Probably. I don't know. It's like one of these things when I was at uni and stuff like that, because I had a rail card and shit, and hundreds of pals that lived in town and stuff, it would be like going to a gig and that would be great. But now it's a fucking effort. Got to get the bus, pay for it, or if I drive in, park. I'm not going to drive in. Then I can't drink. It's always, you know, being old shit. Heart HBs are made in different factories. They possibly could be. I don't know. I mean, to be fair, I've played a few. I remember the first Harley Benton I'd never even heard of was someone had a Telecaster and they wanted me to fit they bought one of those Hot Rails, which at the time were £6 in from eBay, China. I think they're now about a tenner, but still, you know, standard Hot Rails. It must have been for a telly to stick in the bridge of his Harley Benton, and I was like, yeah, he's happy. He was pure apologetic. Going, I know it's a shit guitar, and I wasn't playing it. There is a video of it. And I was like, happy. Fine, you know what I mean? Would you pay £120? He's like, no, £65 because that's how much they were new at the time. I was like, fucking hell, £65, you got a guitar. Wow, amazing. That must have been 10 years ago though, and then I keep seeing other ones, and they're just maybe the cheap ones don't annoy me as much, but it's the expensive one. That one I had that Fusion Telecaster, which to be honest, I don't like the idea. A Telecaster to me has to be cheap. Okay, I'm sitting here playing a Telecaster custom. But still, you know, the two bits of wood nailed together, metal plates, blocky. It's just designed to be cheap. This is okay, maybe not that much cheaper than a normal Telecaster, but that kind of worked for me. The whole aesthetic, or the whole idea of a Telecaster should be how simple can we make a guitar that plays? And it's like, you're not getting much simpler than a Tele, really. None of this expensive sanding and carving shit going on. So I like it, but that one I had, I fucking hated. And it was because it was like a £300 guitar, £400 new, which, if you look at the spec list, it's got fucking Wilkinson and stainless steel and a roasted. It was all pish. It was a terrible guitar. Nothing compared to this. It was, I'm saying, I'm always saying this up here, the difference between, this and the real Fender is probably 5-10% max, something like that. Or a Harley Benton, that one there, the difference between that and this is 10 times better. Even though it doesn't have stainless steel frets or roasted maple neck Wilkinson tuners, it doesn't have any of that stuff, but it's 10 times better, not 10% better. Reality is a construct that we were forced to live in. Oh, I forgot that. It used to be a Telestyle Paisley purple. I don't know how many guitars I've got. I keep saying, I've sold a couple, but the thing is, it's like, see, all the time I sell guitars, they're normally ones I bought to sell, which I do. If you ever see me with like mostly like Squires or Epiphones or stuff like that, I bought them to fix them up and sell them. Buying broken ones, good for fireplace. Hey, Ron Van He, I bought a Harley Benton Classical Electro because I needed one for a project. It's a cheap Ovation copy with an all right neck and an okay piece that does the job. Well, maybe, yeah. But I mean, I suppose it just comes down to maybe now just, the experience of having gone through so many. I mean, I must be sitting at 400 guitars that I've gone through. I've basically had to bits fixed, put back together again or set up in various ways. More than that, probably 500 guitars, something like that. So I've got this such a reference point that I look at a lot of guitars. Even that Epiphone Les Paul I had, which I've still had to do the frets on it the other day. It's like that's probably my most hated guitar out of all the guitars you can get in that color. Was just like, it's just because it's. I've seen so many of them, worked on them. People always pure love them, and they pay a lot of money for them. If they were £100, but that's fine. Oh, cool! That's a really good guitar, but not £400. What? £400? You can get a good guitar for that. You're almost at FGN level. Yeah, difficult. But I can see the point in a classical electroacoustic because it's like, I don't know, how much does it cost? Mr. White was thinking about last night, if we change the perception definition of house, we could all change a homeless. I all used to be wandering homeless once. I'm used. That sounds a bit deep for me, man. It's like buying a £400 Fazza, £50. If you're dropping £400 guitar, you can do better. Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I used to find that very much with BC Rich as well. See the Bronze series guitars. I like them, the Bronze Warlock and stuff, but I bought a Platinum series Warlock which the bronze ones at the time were maybe 120 quid new. You could pick them, I think I was fucking picking them up for 20, 30 quid second hand. But I was looking at, okay, I'm picking it up for 20, 30 quid with bits missing and stickers on them. So clean them up, make them work. Yeah, I was looking at that being 120, 130 quid. Like that, pure, yeah, and you're getting a guitar that plays all right. Yeah, totally. And I got a platinum series one, I had a platinum series one, and it was like, this is the same as the bronze one. It's exactly the fucking same, apart from it's got more expensive tuners and nicer paint. But it's 400 quid. And it's like, no, I'm not. You're paying 300 quid for paint. Fuck that. So I hated the platinum series. And the worst one was I had a diamond series Warlock, which looked amazing. It was like a blue, and you could see the grain through it type thing. Warlock with, and I got an upside down headstock and all that. At this point, I had my Mockingbird and I had the bitch, the NJ series ones. I was thinking, oh, it was fucking awful. I got 400 quid for it, but that's more than I paid for the other 3 BC Riches I've got put together, and it was shit. It's because it was the one that you look it up. Oh, these are worth 400 quid. It's not fucking worth 400 quid. It was worth 20 quid more than a bronze series one. In actual fact, because you're basically paying for nice paint. The classical one. Well, the problem is I can't play classical guitar either, but I've always maintained to see classical guitars in general, like see the way, I don't know if does Argos even still exist? Used to get like, see if you're talking about buying a guitar, like one of your wee nylon string Argosy guitars for £30 new or something like that. Actually, it sounds all right. It's quite hard to play. It sounds kind of all right though. You couldn't really pick up an electric guitar for under 100 quid. It sounds okay. It sounds shit. Different. But I mean, I do. I'm going to buy a Fazley at some point. Just because, how bad could it be? I had one and it was all right. I think it was a thin line or something. I remember driving all the way down to fucking Ayr or something. That'd be a Telecaster for 45 quid. I'll drive all the way to Ayr, like an hour in the car, an hour in the back. I was like looking them up online. And it's like they're only £70 new. Oh, still good. Still good. What a shot of your CB Sky. I think I know the one. It's kind of like it's kind of a double cut Les Paul, but really, really, really fucking ugly. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Maybe only one pickup, and it's got like a stripe down the middle. Yeah, I've never played one. They look hideous though. Just the shapes. €129. There you go. No, this is a Mad Hatter set. I thought it was a pretend like the homeless is Tenants. It's not Tenants. It's not Tenants Super. Yeah. I mean, just considering buying a brand new Fazley telly for 64 to use as a project. Wait until look at our the one that I nearly bought was the exotic wood one, and it was £56 delivered. This is a couple of years ago, but only 2 years ago, and it was like an exotic wood, which kind of looked like see when you get plywood and B&Q, and sometimes it's got a grain. But it was 56 quid delivered. How can you get a guitar for? I kind of wanted to buy it. I will buy one. It's something. It's better if you're buying a telly. I don't know. I mean, how it's so simple, and it's like if the bridge is in the wrong place, like just buy a bit. You just unscrew the bolts and move it to the right bit, put it back in again. If the neck's at a funny angle, you can arse about with it, make it work. I think. But there you go, your projects. I mean, projects are great fun. Why don't you just build a fucking guitar? That's what I've got a Jen building a guitar just now. She's got one that looks a bit like a robot spaceship. You built guitar. Someone said, made the mistake going up here. How come you only paint other people's guitars? What? You're not a real artist. You should build your own. And Jen's like, fuck it, I'll build my own. I gave her a block of fucking pine. She drew a design out, cut it out. I'm gonna give her the router, and I'm not gonna route out the neck pocket and the pickups for her. I'm gonna show her how to route out the neck pocket, and then she's gonna do it so that she can say, I built this guitar. I know there's a line from when you build. How much of the guitar do you have to build a guitar? Is the question. I think it's going to be slightly different for everyone. Obviously, So, right, say for example, I built this telly, right? At what point did I build it, right? So you totally accept that I didn't build the pickups or the tuners on the bridge, right? I didn't build them. I just bought them and stuck them on it, right? That's still you still built the guitar. If you built a guitar from scratch, but you bought the pickups and you bought the scratch plate and you bought the knobs, all that stuff. So yeah, you don't have to build every single piece for it to be a build guitar, right? If you buy use a neck from an old guitar, but build the body, I still think that's building a guitar. If you buy a kit, you built a kit. But if you buy a body from Warmouth and a body from neck, a neck from Warmouth and all the parts, you assembled it, you didn't build it. I don't know where the line, there is a line there, but I don't think it's fair. I mean, I know there was a company in a guy in Glasgow used to do it, make guitars, and basically he would buy guitars from China, set them up, put his logo on the top, and say, "I built this guitar." That's not building a guitar. I don't think. Even did I build the bucket casters? Yes, because I'm taking parts from different things and putting stupid stuff in and doing stuff. So it's kind of, I don't know where the line is, but yeah, I'd totally just buy a fucking project. Oh, Fasley strap body, one pickup, no pick guard, cheap, looks cool. Could be good. Too many projects. The thing you got, I find with projects is you've got to you've got to do them as quick as you can. If you don't, I was the same when I was recording my solo album, which none of you've ever heard, and I will never put live ever, but it does exist. I started off doing it trying to do good songs, and I would spend days fucking trying to get the rhythm track right and all that shit, and then basically after a couple of months, I gave up, and basically what I did was, right, fuck it, I'm going to write a song. So I basically start in the morning and then have it finished by that night. That's it. That's the only way I could write a song like from scratch, was to do it in one go. I couldn't leave it. I couldn't do the rhythm tracks. I'll put the bass and the guitar on right. Tomorrow I'll do it. It didn't work. It just sat there and did nothing, and then I forgot about it. So I'm kind of a wee bit like that with guitars as well. That's why I don't really like. I don't like the things that take a long time, like doing a good paint job. Like, oh, I'm building a guitar. I mean, I really appreciate. See if you look at what Jez does. Some of the guitars he's painted, they look fucking amazing. You know, like proper. Yeah, I can see that how PRS would do that. Yeah, totally. But I just can't. I can't be bothered. I get bored with the amount of time it takes to do that. I couldn't spend 5 evenings sanding a guitar. Fuck that. I'll just build it crap on one evening, so I had the guitar. You know what I mean? Difficult. Oh, assembled. Yeah. The prices on Backshop change every day due to exchange rate, but grabbing a B stock deal and good exchange rate is always tempted. Yeah, I get it, but it's like when you're looking at a B stock guitar, you kind of want to know what it is that's wrong with it. Like sometimes it's great, like would I buy a B stock guitar? What is it? You want to find why it's a B stock. If it's a B stock because it's got a big scratch right down the front, which I totally accept, someone sent that back because they bought a brand new guitar and there's a big scratch down the front. I'm not paying full price for that. I'm sending it back, right? But that, yes. It's like, what's wrong with it? The neck's twisted. That's not the same as having a big scratch on it or having a chip out the back of it, something like that. So as long as you know what it is that makes it a B stock, then I can totally have no problem with that. I've spent too much time thinking about looking for guitars and keys instead of play. We all do that. That's the law of things. I'm much better now than I used to be. I used to be the vulture of eBay and Facebook Marketplace. More of the Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree. I kind of went off Gumtree. But I would literally check Gumtree 3 or 4 times every night. I was like, when was the last time I checked Gumtree? An hour ago, because obviously all the best stuff gets sold in 10 minutes. And I would end up with fucking amazing stuff doing that, but I can't be bothered. I've lost my lighter. What do I do with it? But that's where now I kind of sat back and just accept what comes my way as I'm meant to get. I mean, in this telly, I didn't. You could be on for 5 years trying to find a guitar like this, but I wasn't looking for it. Wasn't looking for anything specific. I wasn't even looking for a telly, I'll be honest. It was like I suppose kind of the thing that basically, if I hadn't been talking the other night about wanting a JPAX telly, I probably would just have skipped past it. Or maybe there's a price point which I won't go beyond. You know, it's like, I probably see quite a lot of bargain guitars at 300 quid. I don't spend £300 on a guitar unless it's, well, I basically don't spend 300. I mean, even something like that was 250. It's like I had to think about that for a few days, going, 250 quid. That's when it comes to the point of, if it's going to be like 60 quid or 70 quid, I'll fucking, oh, that's interesting. Oh, this was a wee bit more than that, but not much more. Oh. You build a car, you don't forge your own metal parts, you buy ready-made ones, same with guitars. Yes, to the point, I don't know at what point, if you just buy a guitar kit though, Scott, would you say you built that guitar? No, I probably would. If I built a kit, I don't know. Kicked the family out and played at least 5 guitars, took a nap. Nice. Catch you later, Jess. Cheers for your support and everything. But I mean, the man, his painting is fucking amazing. Maybe it's a patience thing. I have none. And Freddy's back show exactly what's wrong. Do they? I'm not really bothered. Usually it's because the packaging is missing or it's lost its gig bag. They don't tend to be battered. Yeah, well, yeah, totally. But again, if the package is damaged or it doesn't have the gig bag, you're not paying full price for it. You know, you're looking at a guitar that's 150 quid. It's like, oh, it's 150 quid. It comes with a gig bag, but it doesn't have the gig bag. You're not paying 150 quid for it, which I totally get. Yeah, totally. Oh. What's for you will no go by you. Yes, it sounds a wee bit, there's no fate but what we make, though, or the opposite of that. I don't know if I necessarily believe in fate, but yes, I do think that I'm meant to have the guitars I've got. I was meant to buy the wee red bass for a tenner. Other people could have bought it. I was meant to have it. I was meant to have all these guitars. I want to be like Roddy Frame, play a jazz box. Oh, by goes jazz. I heard that the jazz thing is one of those things that once you've got really good in the guitar, you start wanting to learn to play harder stuff, and then you start appreciating jazz, which I understand. What's the thing about if you're a rock star, you play 3 chords to 1,000 people, whereas if you're a jazz star, you play 1,000 chords to 3 people. The Kane from Kung Fu just coming across guitars and never ending journey. Yeah, no, you can just keep going. Browsing Marketplace never ends. I bought a twin neck after spotting it here in 3am. Urged to cut it in half as strong. It's not that Arbiter one, is it? I always wanted a double neck guitar because I thought it would be cool. So I used to, when see some of the ones I built, like the double neck, I used to build, before I realised you could buy, there were other brands other than the big ones that are worth money. There weren't other ones that would sneak under the radar. Like shit like this. And it was, I used to build the guitars I couldn't afford. I wanted a Fender 6. I'm not paying £1,500 for a Fender 6. So I built one. I want a double neck guitar. I'm not paying hundreds of pounds for a double neck. I'm going to build one. Blah, blah. So I used to do that. That's how I got a Firebird, which I still have never. I didn't like when I built it. And it turns out I don't like Firebirds, but I didn't know that because I never played one. But I built one. So I drew around my pal's Thunderbird bass and made a Firebird, and I don't like it. I don't like Firebirds. So I didn't know that at the time though. But there's an Arbiter twin neck, which is I bet is fucking amazing. But the thing is, see the Gibson. It's basically it's the Jimmy Page one. I've played. I bought one of them for 50 quid once. 50 quid for a double neck. I'm fucking having that. It was awful. My God, it's like it was totally. It was like basically if you imagine holding the guitar like this, like not using a strap. That's what it was like all the time. No matter what you did, you were always holding the full weight of a guitar like that. So you're just playing a G chord, but you're also holding this guitar weight-wise. It's just completely impossible to play. That's why I've not bought that Arbiter one. It's only 250 quid. See if it had been an Arbiter SG, which is what it is, but only one neck, I'd maybe be going and looking at it. It's not that one. Was it one of the ones from Saltcoats? He had a few guitar. The guy in Saltcoats who I've now decided he's an arsehole. I think his name was Brian. Scott tried to buy a guitar off him and said, "Oh, you know, you can come and get it tomorrow. I'll send you PayPal." No. Then you get a message tomorrow going, "Oh, someone else bought it." Like, you're talking about driving all the way down to Saltcoats, and you're thinking, no, bad vibe. Not interested. Not buying anything off him ever again. Catch you later, John. Cheers. Double neck has its place. I don't know. The problem I've always got with double necks, I suppose I can sort of see the 12 stringer one. I bet the 12 string, but one I built was the first one I built was the bass, and in fact, the first one I built was a Telecaster. It was a 6-string bass and a 6-string guitar, but just still got if anyone wants that. But I was really found that the bass and the guitar one's a funny one because there's very specific situations where that could be good. But it's got to be a very specific situation because you can't play the guitar and then play bass for another bit. Because what's the bass player going to? You can't have two baits, so it kind of come in. I think in general rule, hey, Qtronic Quilt, there's a lot of Qs in there. If you build an instrument and call it your own, it's probably similar to the Swiss watch industry. Possibly, I don't know, but I mean, I don't know where the line is. But I would have a problem about somebody buying a kit guitar and basically putting their brand on the headstock and saying they built it if they bought, or even if you built up a guitar. You know, I build guitars and you buy Warmoth parts and stick them together. That's kind of more Lego-y. There's got to be more building to it than that, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where the line is. Free will is an illusion. Is it? Is it? So as I said, you see that about Mr. Whitesnake, the difference between this and the Fender one, the big difference, there are 4 bolts. Yeah. Aye. Recently joined the Music Gear Scotland Facebook page. That might be Scott's one. Careful. No, his is the Pro Collectible Gear. There's a lot of wank on there. There's a lot of arseholes play the guitar. I think there's people who actually are into it. Us lot, cool folk. I mean, and then you get folk who think it's cool. I mean, I don't get that much, but I do get a bit. I did go to Saltcoats to look at a few. I wanted the Green Pearl Horner, but didn't like it when I picked it up. The twin neck was local seller to me. Right, so it's not the same one, but I know the Green Pearl Horner one. Yes, I thought it looked great. I thought that would look like a fantastic. I don't need another guitar, but I can see a situation where that being great. You know, if you're sitting there thinking, I don't know, this whole thing about wanting to be like everyone else, I kind of like the idea of not being like everyone else. I bet if you're playing music, do you want to play music like everyone else? So it's like that's where something like, I mean, even something like this it appeals to me because it was really cheap and it's a Japanese one, so the quality is pure through the roof. But I wouldn't really be interested in the Mexican version or the Squier version or the Fender version of this, really, unless it was a super bargain price. But I mean, it comes down to any guitar. I'll buy any guitar and enjoy it. I mean, if I could pick up the Epiphone Les Paul, which I hate, but it's 50 quid. Aye. Maybe I would enjoy it. Not it's 300 quid. Like 300 quid buys you any one of these, and they're not. You know, we're not comparing the same things. You know, it's like comparing Bucky to like the cheapest red wine you can find. It's not the same. Yeah. Oh. You make the neck you're the builder. Yeah. Well, maybe yes. I've never built a neck, so maybe I'm never a guitar builder. But then again, I've got the fucking double neck. I built that. I mean, from wherever this line is, it's like that line between I built all the parts myself. You 100% built it. You don't need to build the tuners. You don't need to build the pickups. Totally. do you need to do something with it to build it? I don't know. I think I already said, hey Alex, how's it going? Yeah. No necks on my guitars, only shafts. Nice. I have to have a shot about one good epi Les Paul. It's possible. I don't dislike the F1 Les Paul. See the cheaper one, was it the special? The one that's kind of basically is more like a Telecaster. I quite like that because it's cheap. The thing that gets me about the Les Pauls, probably more so the Gibson ones, this is $2,500. Why is it $2,500? And even when you get the one that's like the Epiphone one, that's 3 or 4, 500 quid. Why is it 4 or 500 quid? It's like, if they cost 150 quid, then well, maybe I would view it slightly differently. I don't know. Why is there no a yellow label section of guitars like Asta? There is. They're called Harley Benton. Anyone tried the Dan Electro basses with those lipstick pickups? Went to a concert, the bass player used it to Jack Vocal. Well, yeah, I don't know. Oh, ultimately, I suppose if you're really good at the guitar and you really work at it, you can probably make something that's not that good. But yeah, I mean, it depends. Maybe he just uses a special pedal or special settings, or it does a specific thing and it might work really well. I don't know. I mean, the versatility thing's not really something I'm hugely after on a guitar because I've got so many. That's what I was saying about something like this. You know, this sounds weird and different to a normal Telecaster or any, you know, the wide range humbucker doesn't sound like any of the ones with humbuckers in it. So it's different. That's enough for me. I don't know if I would want to be nailed down to only having this guitar. If I only had one guitar, you know what I mean, what would I end up playing? And it would be like probably an HSS Strat, something like that, because it kind of does the most. But I mean, still. A good U song, Epi Les Paul. Possible? Well, no, because it's still a Les Paul. But the thing is, I'm totally willing to accept that a lot of that is when I first knew anything about guitars. There was a guy, it better not be on here, who his name was Nobby, and he looked like a total fanny, and I didn't like him. And he had his slash Les Paul, you know, at his knees, and he just strutted about like he was cool as fuck. And I thought he was a dick. I never talked to him ever. He strutted about like he was a pure dick. And I think that might be one of the reasons why it kind of hinted me towards against the Les Paul. Just, you know, it comes down to, you know, something. Why don't I like a 335? And it's like, well, Will Gallagher plays one, and I fucking hate him. So that there's an element of that in it. I'm not. It's not rational, but it's part of it. Oh. John Entwistle did use a Dan Electro in the solo for My Generation, yeah. Oh. Batman, good. HSS Strat, the wedding band guitar. Yeah. Yes, but that's what you're trying to cover. And it's like the whole point. That's one of the things I kind of fell out with the band Cranking House that I'm no longer in. Or the band disbanded. We're doing covers of songs for some songs and original stuff. Is like, no, I was happy. Oh, we put a solo in here. And it's like, no, let's just play it like the record. And it's like, no. There's no fun in that. We don't want to play it like the record. Doesn't that even in the Black Sabbath band? I mean, we sound more like Black Sabbath than any other Black Sabbath band I've ever heard. We're not fucking right. It's got drive and ambition and changey bits and jamminess in it. Not playing it note for note. That's not the point. I can play all the bass lines note for note, and I intentionally don't. You know what I mean? Oh. You put an Epiphone Les Paul 59 for $600, normally $900. It messed up tuners, put some Grovers on it, plays great. Yeah, but I mean, there's a video none of you have seen of that Epiphone Les Paul, the one that I'm quite pleased I didn't actually put it out. I'm going to have put up a members thing only, and you get to see me after doing that video and just biting my tongue all the way through it, saying it's all right. And then it was like, as soon as I stopped it was like, pure right. Next video. Oh, here we go. You know what I mean? I said all the things I didn't like about it, which was, yeah, but that's fine. A lot of that is a lot of it does make sense and is right, and a lot of it is just not liking it, which is fine. You know what I mean? It's like there's lots of music I don't like, or things I don't like just because I don't like the look of it. It doesn't really appeal to me. Blah, blah, blah. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm right. Well, I'm right because it's what I think. So what do you think? You can think something else. It doesn't make you wrong and me right. We're both right. It's just I don't like it and you do. That's fine. Totally. Yeah, I mean, but again, I am willing to go back and change my mind if something pops along that is really good. It's possible. It's unlikely, but it's possible. Some of my favourite guitars are ones that I didn't expect to like. I just bought because they were cheap and I was going to flip them, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I get it. I understand it. It makes sense to me. Whereas I think that's maybe where Les Paul doesn't make sense to me. Why do people love these so much? And because I don't understand why people love them so much, it kind of puts me on a negative spin to go, why? I don't see it. I don't get it. Ugh. You talk about LPs, it makes me want one. I don't know, but it's like even I did. There's a couple of Les Pauls I have liked, but they've been bolt-on neck ones and they've been old Japanese ones. But again, it's because they were cheap. So it's like, it's like, here's a Les Paul. It cost 250 quid. And it's really good. That impresses me. I'm not sure. Here's a Les Paul. It's really good. It costs $2,500. For $2,500, it's got to be better than all the guitars I've got. And I don't need, maybe not a $2,500 Les Paul does not sound better than all the guitars I've got. Maybe the 58, they're £100,000 though, but not a normal Les Paul. None of them are better than all the guitars I've got, and they cost 10 times as much, 20 times as much. What bass am I using to gig? That one. That's the standard tuning. One. The other one I'm not really sure. I probably just use my West Tone Thunder because it's nice and easy and I understand it. I've played Les Pauls and Strats for 40 years. Love them. Well, fair enough. You got to understand that. I mean, yeah, I will change my mind just because I've got an opinion. So it doesn't mean I'm right. You can argue with me if you want. You can't really argue with me that Oasis are good. That's really my only stickling point. It's like they're terrible. But you can argue that, but it meant kids got into the guitar. Okay, there's a plus point. You know what I mean? But no. You enjoy your Harley Benton. Even better would be a PRS Harley Benton copy playing Wonderwall. Fantastic. Although Wonderwall's not my hated song. I can't remember what my hated one. The Get It On one. The one that goes, nah. Nah. That one I fucking hate most. Yeah. Everyone need to stop dipping their guitars in that thick clear coat they use. When I get my 339 back from loan, it's getting the Scotch Brite all over it. I don't know. I mean, I don't really like 335s. 339s. That's the better one, isn't it? It's no. Okay, is it a 333? The one that's basically a 335, but it's got a hatch on the back, and it's like £300 cheaper because it's got a hatch on the back. I like that one better than like an actual 335, just because you can actually get at the parts. A good idea. Yeah. You don't, Papa Blue. You don't need to disclose how many guitars you've got. This is GA, Guitaraholics Anonymous. You can have as many guitars as you want. It's fine. We'll not judge you. I'm an enabler here. I think a lot of people watch this YouTube channel because they go, look at all the guitars he's got. I don't feel so bad about having 12. That's fine. You know what I mean? I totally. 2 Epilers, 1 guitar, just sticking with a decent one and not buying anymore. I wonder if the setup's something to do with Sloan Ranger. Did you set them up yourself? Les Pauls are heavy bloated. There's better things with humbuckers in them. I agree with you, Kit Kats, but you don't like Telecasters. So, but I don't mind. I don't think any less of you. In some ways, I kind of admire you for at least being sticking to your guns about not liking Telecasters. That's fine. You're wrong, but no. I defend your right to think that, and I totally get it, and I appreciate that that's what you think. That's totally fine. Oh, Polyester, that deadens the sound and resonance. The hand had it off, took a week. I don't know. I'm not willing to commit to any of that because I mean all the guitars you see here are all poly finished. I've got nitro finished guitars. I've got ones with no finish on them. I don't know. There's so many things. Hey, Papa, you got 40 guitars. My best is over 40. That could mean you get as many as me. Yeah, it's an 83 Gibson Les Paul Custom Pearl White. It's Pearl White. No, see that would fucking sway me. I know it's ridiculous. Like, see that episode. But you've not seen the video where I pure hate it. It's the Slash one or the Jimmy Page one. That kind of color sort of thing. That one, if that had been white, that could have made a difference. I wouldn't hate it as much, which is wrong. But like if that Tempest Strat had been black, it would have been painted by now because I don't like black. Well, I've got a black guitar. I don't know. It's like, this is a safe place. Stay what you want. Fuck it. You know what I mean? As long as it's not super. Yeah, the weight can be an issue with a guitar. And saying that, I don't know. It depends. Sometimes if a guitar's really, really cool, you can get past whatever it is that in theory doesn't make any sense to you, it doesn't work. You know, if this had weighed a ton, I probably wouldn't like it. It doesn't know. It's an average. It's at the point of weight of going, well, what weight is it? Yeah, in the middle. That. So if it had been a pure chonk, maybe not. The Mini 3. All right, I know the Mini 335. Yeah. Lovely piece of woodwork. Alexander Gardner, who doesn't like Telecaster Kit Kats? Polyester, not polyurethane. All right, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But that's the difference. But like all the old 80s Japanese guitars I've got, like if the other ones I've got are beat up to fuck, they've got chunks out of them and stuff. But it can be looked after like this one. I mean, this thing's fucking. This is older than me. I mean, okay, I could do with a polish. It's got some swirl marks, but I mean, this thing's mint. I don't know if you get a Fender one, if the Fender even had poly finishes that are still going to look like this. Heritage guitar is one you want over a Gibson to the old factory workers. I knew that, yes. The problem with that, though, is that you're still paying $2,500 for a guitar that weighs a ton and is a Les Paul with a funny, and I don't like the look of them. But is entirely down to me. I totally get that. I can totally understand that you do like the look of them. Just because I do doesn't mean you do. But that's not something that can be changed. I mean, whether you fancy, for some reason, Drew Barrymore came into my mind. Maybe you think she's gorgeous, maybe you don't. Well, I don't know. It's not a quantifiable element. So yeah, I mean, I don't like the look of it. I don't I'm grown to like this. I do like this now after having looked at it sitting last night going, I do quite like the look of this. But if you asked me last week, what do you think of the Telecaster Custom? I'd be like, nah, I don't like the big scratch plate. No, I don't like, But things change. It doesn't matter if you're 40 guitar, 15 pairs or 2,000 hoodies, as long as you're happy, who cares? Yes. As long as there's people not dying. Yes, I'm shouting. Quite right. Who doesn't like Telecasters? Get them up against the wall. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Get it. But that's fine. I'm sure Kit Kats is fine with that. I mean, I'd be quite a big one up here. Who doesn't like Les Pauls? Me! Go! Give me all you got. Doesn't really matter. Ultimately, I don't mind arguing with things that don't really matter. Because ultimately, I don't really care. Really. I can vehemently, if I'm not arguing against something that I'm, it's like behind me and it's like it's actually part of my being. It's like, no, I just don't like them. Fuck you. I go. Give me all your shit. I don't give a fuck. All the reasons why Les Pauls are amazing. That's fine. Yeah, I don't care. Really. It doesn't matter what the answer is. It's good fun arguing about it. I like Les Paul Juniors and specials. I see they don't care. I don't class them as Les Pauls. Yes, I quite like them, but they don't really have the thing that I don't like about Les Pauls in them. A Les Paul like Junior is like, really, how different is it to a telly? It's not really. It's kind of. I was heartbroken over Randy Rhodes' death when but a 1983 Les Paul per white like his Les Paul. Well, there you go. Totally. I didn't. Obviously, I wasn't old enough to know about Randy Rhodes at the time. So because you get Boz slowly, little big cow, big Boz. Are you not? Maybe you're not buying Les Paul because a Telecaster because they're too girly. Which again, I don't know why girls would play Telecasters. Really, as it's not. I mean, it's not particularly small. It's not particularly comfy. It's not particularly dainty. In fact, it's anything but dainty. It's kind of like a hammer. You know, it's like the reason Bruce Springsteen, with his Born in the USA with denim jeans, ripped T-shirt, Telecaster, it's that. That's not particularly girly. Yeah, John, I like it. We go through phases. The thing is I'm at the point where I've got fucking so many guitars that I see a tobacco sunburst and go, boring. But I mean, yes, good wood is lovely, and you're not really going to see it in this. Not that this is a particularly pretty one. Yeah, it's like, that's quite pretty. It's natural wood. It's a veneer on the front, but the wood in the back's pretty good as well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty, and I'm not going to paint over it. I just think that is pretty having wood. But if you've got the number of guitars I've got, like even the number you can see on the walls, you know, what is it, 10 or something, or 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can see 10 guitars just now, not including those ones that are on the floor. I wouldn't want them all to be the same. I wouldn't, if they were all natural wood, that's too much. Or if they were all white, I like white guitars. Yeah, it's just a big to 10s. Well, I get 2 Telecasters, 1 regular Tele, and 1 with P90s. Fair enough. Oh, Mr. White away. Catch you later, Mr. White. Good luck with the Morris guitar. It's worth fucking paying. It's worth paying more for it than you pay for a modern guitar new, if you can get it. Oh. Yeah, well, I don't have a P90 Tele, but I've got a P90 guitar. That's it there. So I appreciate it, but that's for kind of making this a little bit more easy to. If this had been a standard Telecaster, I would still have bought it, but I would have struggled a little bit because that's an FGN built standard Telecaster. This one has this wide range pickup in it, and it's a bit down. It's got 2 volumes. I mean, I'm the absolute expert enabler slash, not slash, the guitarist. You know, I mean, enabler and justifying having more than one guitar. So, well, it's a bit different. I mean, that's what I was struggling there, sitting there with the JPAX guitars, thinking, what do I not have? I've got a Strat, which is through next door. I've got a Strat. I've got a Gibson, better than Gibson. It's a Washburn. Got a Wii bass. Got an Ibanez RG, and I've got a slightly bigger P bass. And okay, I don't have a full size P bass. Maybe I'd quite like to have that. It's like, what? The only thing I've got kind of covering all the bases, really. And it's like, get a 335, and it's like, I don't really like them. So it's like, I don't have a telly. That was one of the reasons I was thinking about this. Still might get there. Oh. I'd fight any of Bruce Springsteen punch that boss a bit. Oh, come on! Born to Run's a good song. I'm not a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. I don't think I've got any. I've got Born to Run. Da, 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 da. That's a good fucking riff. Yeah. Love that Yamaha. It's fucking amazing, isn't it? It's cripplingly underused. Coil taps on it. It's a lovely guitar. Yeah, I go good luck on that guitar. I don't own an electric guitar with a sunburst finish, Scott. I'm immediately just cycling through my head thinking you must have one. I managed to put the horror telly down. Now I love the Aria. The Aria's that's a really good Aria, that Alexander. But the telly, the thing about a telly is a telly. I've got a bit of a vision that a telly doesn't need to be as good as other guitars to be amazing because it's so simple. It's not really that much more simple, but you just don't get very many tellies that aren't really good. The way you can get, there's hundreds of Strats that are shite, or Les Pauls that are terrible and unplayable, but you don't really seem to get tellies that are shit for some reason. There's less. Yeah, no, the Yamaha's a ridiculous guitar. It's really weird though. It's really off the wall and different, and I don't know if there's anything. There's anything not to like about it. Okay, it doesn't have a humbucker in it. It's single coil, but I'm not really against the Sunburst either. It's just like, it's one of those bizarre things where it's like you think of the most if you're going to make a guitar, like a successful guitar line, and you're going to make, it's like, you're right, you're going to start a new guitar company. What's the best way to sell as much as you can? It's to produce Tobacco Sunburst and Black Stratocaster copies, because that's what everyone likes. And it's like, it's probably the last color out of the range. Here's a Stratocaster, your Fender phone up. We're going to give you an American Stratocaster, right? For being amazing on YouTube. Okay, cool. Oh, amazing. Oh, what colors do you want? Here's the 25 colors you can get. The last color I'd be looking at would be black and Tobacco Sunburst. Those are the most popular colors because everyone's got them, so it doesn't interest me the same way. Every guitar sounds different. Whoever it was said that, I'm getting a wee bit behind again. Sort of, unless it's a West Tone Thunder, in which case they all sound the same because the quality control's pure ridiculous. And I would kind of put that on this as well. If you've got one of these and it's got the original parts on it, it's not fucked, and it's set up properly, it's going to be exactly the same as this. It's not going to have that variance you get between things because the quality control level's too high. Same with something like an Ibanez RG. You know what I mean? If you've got a Japanese Ibanez RG, they're all the same. Two. Mostly. Probably there's a Strat. I've got a telly with a Floyd Rose on it. Burster Classic. Yeah, well, sorry. Is that your new Keith Richards guitar? I never really thought about it as a Keith Richards guitar. It's I don't know. It's a telly, but it's got like a jazz pick. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. Yeah, basically, I did the video you're going to see tomorrow night is me when I got it with like at lunchtime today when it had the Seymour Duncan JB and the real Fender pickup in it, and they'd wired it up wrong. See if it'd been wired up wrong. It was wired up with a master volume, neck tone, bridge tone, and that did nothing. So it's like, so it was annoying because even though I've never played one of these before, I'm used to Les Paul SG type guitar. So because I've got a volume here and a volume here, I think that's the neck volume, that's the bridge volume, just without thinking about it. So I was forever struggling with it because it only had one volume and that one didn't do anything. I can't go for the innuendo here. I couldn't have a guitar that had a knob that didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter what it does. It doesn't have to do anything particularly interesting. It has to do something though. Maybe all the crap tellies gets parked out. Possibly. Black Strat, right? Stevie Zero, Black Strat with Tex-Mexes. Yeah. Not in. Well, price-wise, but I mean, it's not something that I hanker after. Maybe if it was neon pink or if it's like, I mean, that's why I love the JPAX ones, because they're all different and so much more interesting. Just to me, not saying it's interesting to everyone. The interestingness in it isn't that it's what it looks like. The interestingness to me is the fact it's from 1974 and it's an interesting make, CSL. That's interesting. The actual Fender one isn't as interesting to me, or a Squire or a modern copy. If this was a brand new Mexican or American or whatever, it wouldn't be as interesting to me. Maybe it'd be interesting if it had a crazy paint job or something, but it's like, there's got to be something that makes it interesting. You know what I mean? Accountant wins. Fiesta Red. Well, there you go. I actually did I fixed up the wee guy around the corner. I need to call him. Stop calling him the wee guy around the corner. He's young, so he's a wee guy. It was just a Squire Affinity Bullet, whatever it was. Squire, red body, white scratch plate Squire. And I really enjoyed working on it and playing it because I'm so used to looking at these fucking things that look mental. You know, so instead of looking at, you know, I mean, this one, go for it. You know, you're sitting there looking at it, and that's more interesting than every guitar you can find online. Look at it, for fuck's sake. You can stare at it for hours, and it's like, but I've got half a dozen of these, and I've wired 20 or 30 of them, all completely different. And it's like, pure looking at it, it's like, pure, oh, do you think of this? Oh, it's pure mental. And it's like, I'm sick of looking at pure mental stuff. So just like having a plain guitar was like pure, oh, wow, look at it. It's just one color. It's just red. Wow. I really enjoyed it. So that doesn't make any sense at all, but it's the way it is. And maybe I like this because it's just black. So I can actually, instead of looking at the amazing paint job and crazy things to look at, you just look at it and go, oh, look, it's got a big pickup. Yeah. Do you have a surf green abomination? Sounds good. I think I have 5 Yamaha Pacifica tellies. I remember I was going to buy a Yamaha Pacifica telly. They're amazing. They're a little bit skewed looking to me, though. I don't know what it is. It's just a personal looky thing. Like, see, this telly here is not a proper telly shape. You know, this is too pointy. This is a wee bit small. You know, scratch plates and all these things that are not telly, but that's totally fine with me. Whereas the Yamaha Pacifica is a bit. There's something about the shape. It's the same with the Yamaha SGs. I mean, they're fucking amazing guitars. I'm not arguing. Same with the Pacificas are about as good a guitar as you can get. There's something arty in me that goes. And it's like, see the washburn there compared to a Yamaha SG. Yamaha SGs are most Yamaha SGs are better than this washburn, but the shape of this I find pleasing. Why? Don't know. But Yamaha SG, which is kind of this shape, is these bits aren't as long. It kind of looks bulbous and ugly. Whereas this shape, you can't really see the shape because of the paint on it. But I can totally take that. That has no bearing on how good a guitar it is. There's no bearing on it, and there's also a certain sense of getting used to these things. Going up, who got a bright yellow guitar? Me. I painted it yellow. I've got a washburn. I'm not a washburn. A Westtone Concord H2, and I painted it was red, and I painted it yellow, and it's fucking amazing because it's yellow. He did have a yellow P-bass. I can still here, but I might not get too involved because I'm pissed. That sounds like me. Yeah. The clash with the curtains. Oh yeah, I get stuck into Scott. I love these sort of slaggings people get. Where it's just like, yeah. That's how I got on with Scott. That's how when I was doing the videos with Scott. I've tried doing videos with folk before and thought about it. I was doing one with Scott. And I think I called him a bastard within the first 3 minutes, and he was fine with it. And it's like, up here, we're gonna get on all right. Yeah, it's as long as it's in jest and it's fun. But yeah. No, that horror's now the snake bass. So JPEG rocks. That's why I only use capitals. Quite right. I like that. Yes. I don't know. Does she actually spell it in capitals? Or not? It's not written in all of them. Yes, it's all capitals. There's the brand that'll be worth money someday. It's all capitals. Actually, I don't know. I can't decide. I mean, this one, right? Look at it. It doesn't have the JPEGs logo, but is the JPEGs logo going to ruin it? Look at it. It's fucking stunning. So I don't know. Maybe get to just actually put it on the back plate. When I say get her to. You'd obviously appreciate the fact that, I mean, it's really more of a sort of be really, really nice to her and ask her to do it. It's like if you tell Jen to do something, That's not happening. So I'll get her to do that. I was like, no, I can't get her to fucking do anything. Nobody can get her to do anything. It's all got to be mad peacock thing. Yes, it's very peacocky. Yes. More a DC, a double cut. Yes, it is a bit like a double cut Les Paul. Well, a Yamaha SG is kind of more a double cut than it is like an SG. An SG is not a double cut. I don't know. I always thought it was a bit silly that the Yamaha SG was called an SG because it's not an SG. I don't think. I wouldn't say that was an SG either. So was it up here? Oh, what that Washburn Raven is an SG? No. That kind of sits in a sort of. Is that an SG? It kind of is. It's quite close to. It's SG-ish. Is it because of this curve though? It's kind of an SG. More than a lot of other ones. It's more of an SG than a Yamaha SG is. Because it's flat and thin. So SG, when you're playing it, it's that's an SG and it's it's got the 6. Does it matter whether it's an SG or not? No. I do like that. But once you've run out of normal shape guitar, suddenly you start looking at other more interesting ones. The artist, the signature has to be on the frame. Offcut set kind of SG kind of. Well, it's like SG kind of. It's kind of sort of yeah. But it's more of an SG than a Yamaha SG. It's because a Yamaha SG is like, okay, not all of them, but the one you think of, the 1500, 2000, has got the carved top and shit on it. So it's basically it's a Les Paul, but a different, but doesn't have this bit. It's like a double cut Les Paul, so kind of close. The signature has to be on the paint. But does the signature have to be on it? I mean, this one doesn't have a signature on it either. But would you want to? Do I want a signature on it? Really? It's pretty obvious from my point of view. It's pretty obvious what it is, and it's like anyone, if it ever came down to when it comes down to them being worth thousands of pounds just for the artwork, it's like, oh my god, you've got J-Pax #1. Yes, I own J-Pax #1. I would like to bring that up in conversation with Jen herself. She's got I think I should keep #2 because it's so iconic, because it's the second one I ever did. It's like, yeah, you keep that. I've got #1. Fuck you. Obviously in jest. If you really wanted it back, I can sell it. Stratty SG. Yeah, that guitar's a fucking anomaly. Sort of Stratty. Sort of SG. It's got a 3-side headstock, so it's 25.5-inch scale, so it's as a Strat. It did originally have 2 single coil pickups. There is a version that's exactly the same. It's got 3 single coil pickups, so it's even a Strat layout. So it's got 3 single. There's the same guitar, but 3, like everything's the same apart from the scratch plate, which has got 3 single coils and a lever switch. That's got 2, so it's a Geosonic. I don't know. Does it really matter? None of my guitars have back plates or truss nut covers. If they're there, I don't take them off. I don't necessarily put them on. That one, the Thor sound there, the one with the P90s, the one with the Stratty SG, doesn't have a truss rod cover. It doesn't have one. This one, on the other hand, I think that's a really pretty fucking ugly Strat Scott cover, like just a white bit of plastic kind of stuffed on it. That's shit. But I was saying this to Scott, that's the one that makes it the Ibanez one. It's kind of unusual. That's what if you're looking at this from a distance, that's what makes it not a Fender one. So it's staying on just for originality's sake. Scott, what did you do with the Honor? I don't remember Scott having a Honor telly, did he? A while ago. Never had SGs, never cared for them, always neck diving. I never really had that problem, but the 2 SGs I do own, the first one, the Epiphone one, is a really fucking light guitar anyway, and I get used to it. Maybe it's just the way you play it. I don't know. Maybe I was willing to overcome that because I thought an SG was cool as fuck, which is the point of understand why people like a Les Paul. It's like, Slash, Jimmy Page, Mick Ronson, whoever it is, it's your Les Paul hero. For me, my heroes were all seem to play SGs. like Mike Oldfield, Pete Townsend, and Tony Iommi, and George Harrison, and they all seem to play SGs. So it was like, for me, when I got it, and it was like, oh, this is really thin, it's really bizarre playing. I was up here totally willing to overcome that because it's, look at it, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Oh. But that telly you were working on was not offensive. What telly's that? This one? It depends. It might be offensive to you. I'm not offensive to me. I don't know. The horror telly I had was one of the lower level ones. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Hey, bye. Brilliant, though. Thanks very much. Thanks for changing your name to Joachim Ibanez Blazer 550. That's great. What kind of guitar is it you play again? I can't remember. Was your first guitar? I can't remember what it was you said. Yeah, no, brilliant. But cheers for joining in. I'm nearly finished. This is going to be an early one. It's only 10 past 11, but I've nearly finished my bucket and I need a shit. So I'm going to cut it down. Harley Benton. Yeah, but I mean, there's room for all these things. If you like it, it doesn't have to be good. I don't care. And this guitar's very, very familiar. I don't know what it is. Skull, Joachim? Was that the Skull? I remember Skull Lager. No, it was fine. I don't remember you having a Honor telly, Scott. What was that? I remember you telling me about it. I didn't know. Oh, Skull means cheers. Brilliant. Okay, cool. I had a 1970 SG I sold for 150 in 1974. I also had the Tony Iommi SG, great sounding, but neck dive. Sold that one too. There you go. Drop the kids off at the pool. Give birth to an otter. Yeah. Have you had any dealings with Rickenbackers? To be honest, no, but Scott has, and he hates them. No, I remember playing one, a band I was in called Baxter. Lovely guys in the band. He had a Rickenbacker, like the Pac-Man one, the Pete Townsend one. I think his dad had bought him for his 21st birthday. It's like, 21st birthday, I'm going to buy you a really expensive guitar. What's the best guitar you want? It was like 1,500 quid or something at the time. So he bought it, and it was like, it sounded fine, but do you want me to tell you why I left that band? It's like, have you ever seen the Alchemy video, the Dire Straits concert video? The guy playing rhythm guitar, I think his his brother did this thing when he was playing the guitar. I can't even do it because I'm just not gay. But I mean, no, but he did this thing when he was playing where he kind of do this thing, and it was really difficult. Playing the bass, and it's like pure. It's a stupid thing. I'll give it that. But I mean, no, he had a Rickenbacker, and I found it really bizarre. It was like kind of the one he had. It was like the body was probably even thinner than something like this, but the pickups were like on bricks, and the neck, instead of, see this bit here, the gap between like the surface of the guitar and the top of the fretboard is like, I don't know, 5 mil or something. It was like an inch. So the neck was here, and the pickups were here, and the bridge was here. So when you were playing it, it was where the neck and the strings would be on an acoustic. You could literally easily fit your fingers below the strings without touching them between the pickups. The pickups were still close to the strings. The neck was up here and the bridge was up here, but it felt really bizarre and I didn't like it. And I played it for 20, 25 seconds, something like that. It was really bizarre thing, which I that's fine. I mean, but no, I could look through Rickenbacker. I feel like a wee bit Rickenbacker and Gretsch are the same thing, because I bought a Gretsch Streamliner, which was kind of like or I got it a trade, and that was really, I'd never really seen a Gretsch. So I thought, I really want that, and I was like, so I got this offer for a trade. So after it, I was like, I'll look it up, and I looked at the entire Gretsch catalog, not the expensive ones, but all their famous shapes. And there weren't really any that I went, that's pure cool, I want that. For some reason, Rickenbacker are kind of the same. I did like the look of the Rickenbacker 401 or 403 bass, but I had an Ibanez version of that, and I hated it because it's, as I mentioned this earlier on tonight, it appears stuck into my chest. It's a cool shape. There's not really anything that really jumps out and says, oh. To be honest, there's a bit of that in, even looking through the Gibson catalogue. Like, I'm not talking about, obviously, I'd love to have one of them. That'd be great. But if you took all the Gibson shapes and all the styles and somebody said, right, I'm going to make you a guitar, which one of these do you want it to look like? And it'll be everything you'll love technically about it. There's not really any that really jump out. I do like the look of an SG, but as I've said this before, like, I've got my SG. Like, I bought an SG when I was like 20 or something like that. My red Ferrari red with a black batwing scratch plate, Gibson SG, and I've never bought another one. But so I don't know really what that says. Whereas I've got a few Strats, I've got a few Tellys, I've got a few of everything else that I like. But for some reason, the SG, I just bought the one I wanted, and that was the one I wanted. And it's like, what SG do you want? Well, I'll just have the one I've got. I just got the one I wanted. That's it. The fact it's Ferrari red, which is it's an unusual colour for an SG. That's fine. Oh, a 401. Again, it comes down to, it's the price thing as well. Yeah, Cass, I'm not really that keen on offsets either. I mean, apart from, I do quite like the Mustang / Duosonic. I quite like that shape, but I don't really class that as an offset, even though it's in the offset catalogue. But I don't really like the Jazz Bass. Just to look at, or the Jaguar or the Jazzmaster. I don't know. It's a bit. I mean, fucking. I'm saying it's a bit show offy. Oh, it's a bit, I'm pure cool. I'm fucking playing a tartan bass at a gig. You know what I mean? It's like, so, yeah, fucking geese it. Yeah, totally. Or I like these. You maybe say they're a bit show offy. Well, yeah, totally. They fucking are, but that's my show offy. Not, I've got a jazz bass show offy. I don't know why. Is the 301 a bit like a back? Nope, I haven't missed the nakedness. I don't know. Whatever. Catch you later, Scott from Baltimore. And the only thing I know about Baltimore is there's a thing on YouTube, if you look it up, called Revolting People, which is a comedy radio show by Andy, oh God, I've forgotten his name, Andy Hamilton. And it's set in Baltimore, and it's about the revolution or whatever. And it's really fucking funny. That's the only time I don't even know where Baltimore is. Sorry. Oh. Hope I haven't missed the nakedness. No, I've not been naked. Just naked abuse. Oh. I'm just fixated on fender shapes. I can't help it. Do what I can. Doesn't work though. I'm not keen on the Strat shapes. I try, but it doesn't work. Well, yeah, but I mean that's just the trick is to accept that there might not be a super logical reason for it. You can have lots of reasons, but I fucking love the film Flash Gordon for many reasons. But I totally understand that you might just think it's just shit. Yeah, totally. It's fucking amazing and I still love it. Doesn't really matter what you say. I still fucking love it. It might be pure shit. Well, it is kind of shit. But I mean, that's not the point. As I get older, I lean more to P basses and tellies. Again, I don't know. The P bass and the telly kind of have their own specific position in the world of rock and music in general by being the first one. The telly was the first, well, mainstream proper electric guitar. It wasn't an acoustic guitar with bits on it. It was, and the P bass was the first ever electric bass. And Leo was obviously some sort of mega genius getting it kind of right both times. Because I mean, okay, there's slight variations. The pickup switch on a Telecaster's changing, and a P bass. After a few years, they found out that the split coil pickup was better, and they put a smaller scratch. But basically the same thing. Most of the, I mean. And then obviously the Strat came after the P bass. So it's a little bit luxurious for me though. The telly's a bit more fucking luxurious, you know, it's a bit more brutal and manly than a Strat is. Oh. It says, did you like your Mustang bass a lot? Yeah, well, I think the Mustang's a cool shape. I like it. It's like the fourth best Jag. I don't know. Where does it come in? So obviously you've got the like the Telly and the P bass, the best Fender shapes, or the first most iconic, and then you get the Strat, which is basically a P bass shape. And then you kind of come down a little bit and you get, I suppose, the Jazz bass and the Jaguar and the Jazzmaster, which are kind of the same shape. And then the Mustang / Duosonic Music Man. That's kind of it. Is there any other Fenders that really, they've got other models, but there's none that really are just like so instantly recognizable and amazing. I like the Marauders. What's like a Marauder? I had a Marauder until recently. It's actually in the same catalogue as this on the same page. Probably from the same fucking factory. It was I can't even remember what make it was. It was an Avon Rose Morris one. I wasn't sure about that. I don't know. It wasn't me. The thing is that when I got that in a trade, and when I buy guitars, I kind of disconnect myself from some. This one, unfortunately, I didn't disconnect myself from. You know, it's like this one was definitely one that I could have bought just to sell for more money, swap it for something. Something about it though said, pretty much before I'd even played it, and then as soon as I basically played it, I was like, "You're right, yeah, it's mine. I don't need to keep it forever, but it's mine for just now." And some guitars I buy to do up and I keep. I change my mind on it, and some of them I buy to sell on. Some of them I buy to keep and then decide, nah, sell it. And some of them I buy to sell and then decide, no, I'll keep it. But generally try and keep it distant. Whereas something like that Marauder, it was never my guitar. I did own it, but never my guitar. It was always going to. It was a through thing. I got it in a good deal, and it was always going to go out. Oh. Yeah, you're right about Rickenbacker. There was never cheap. There's no Epiphone or Squire Rickenbackers. Never have been. And anytime you ever try and people who do make copies of them, you can't put them on eBay. I had a Tanglewood, and it was like, how do you find that? You had to know the model number to find that, because you obviously it's a Tanglewood, but you couldn't put Rickenbacker copy, because as soon as you put Rickenbacker in, eBay would jump on you and pull your ad, because it did. Yeah, Stu, how's it going? I was going to send you a video of us doing Lord of this World. You did the other night. I put that new Trek socket on the Ibanez. The longest part of the job was taking the backplate off. The Jackson bar fit straight into it. Trem socket. Right, cool. I had a 68 Mustang bass. Nice, sold 99 for 300. What's it worth today? 68 Mustang bass, worth probably quite a lot. Yeah. Wonders if I can promote Malco to play in the Land of Green Pink so we can try to chip the chords via the webcam. It's fucking easy. There's no chords in Land of Green Pink. Fuck's sake. I don't mind, but we'll probably get the right guitar for it. So, okay, this was me. D, A, E, F sharp, no, B. Okay, I can't remember. In the land of green pink, where all the Boy Scouts stop to A, they'll be coming back at E, G, Laughing, Grumbly, Grimblies, and the D down your chimney. Yes, the A coming to get in. To take your money, isn't it sitting there so thin? I used to play this on the bass in a band. I used to fucking sang it as well. F sharp and B. So we sailed away for just one day to the land where the puckweed grows. Don't need any money, just fingers and our toes. And when it's dark, a boat will part to the land of Woburn Green. The harmonica, fill up punk weed, and smoke it till we bleed. That's all we'll need be. F sharp, the bug is in the sky. D, D, C, F sharp. Yeah. All right, sorry. Oh. I'm like that with leather jackets. Some of my others I wait to see if I like it for myself. Usually the ones I tend to like end up being sold. Early Tanglewood made in Oregon. Possibly, yes. There'd just be a company that made guitars, I suppose. Yeah, it's not that difficult. It's a funny timing though. If you're in the zone, you can do it. Actually, I sent a video the other day. I'd talk about the kazoo. I've got a double neck 6-string bass and 6-string Telecaster and a kazoo. And I did a version of that on my YouTube, one of my first ever videos. And I was able to do hitting because it's all open notes, it's like E, so on the bass I was able to go A, so B, A, then E, E, then I was finger tapping for the F sharp, and ridiculous. I'm not keen on strats due to trem tuning. I sort of plan for a hardtail project. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you just clamp it up solid and ignore the trem, you can get around it. But there you go. But you hardtail all your strats. Yeah, once you worked out how to do it so you don't have to, it's quite nice having the floaty. I mean, that's one of the things I like about that, because it's basically it's this, but a strat. It's like it's only got a 3-way switch, so you've only got 3 sounds. So because you've only got the 3 sounds, not the 2 that you use, 2 and 4, you can wedge the switch between it. But having a good floaty trem. But I do have an issue with my JPAX number 1. I can't get that trem to work, and I think it's because it's got so many layers of paint on it. It doesn't have a smooth bit in below where the trem sits, so I can't get it to work properly. And if you can't get it to work, fuck it. But when they do work, it's great. Catch you later, Kit Kats. Oh. The only trims I use are a Schecter C1 FR and EVH Wolfgang. It's all on a setup thing. I was basically, if you're not willing to work out how to set up a trem, or you've got hundreds of money and you know somebody that set it up for you, I would just ditch it. Fuck it. It's not worth it. Never played a legit factory hardtail Strat. I'm not sure if I've ever played a hardtail Strat. I must have made some at some point. I suppose Scott's FGN's a hardtail Strat, sort of. It does have 2 humbuckers, but apart from it's just yeah, well, maybe. Oh, Scott selling a guitar. I don't like, but I mean it's amazing. It's a fantastic guitar. Yeah. Sometimes it's good when they're. I don't know. I have been finding it a wee bit when I did the video. I apologise for putting it out last night. It's because that I did that video just because I fancied having a bit of I was like, I'm going to fucking play guitar for half an hour. So I did, and I thought I can first fucking record it, and it'll be like one that goes in the bank, and I'll fucking put it in the members only page, or never put it up, or maybe watch it myself in a few years' time. And then I did that, and then it was like when I woke up in the morning, I found this, and it was like that was an all day trip, so I didn't actually have a video to put out. So I apologise for that. That's why I put a video out earlier on today. I don't know what Wicked Game is. Oh. You can cut a small metal plate for a fulcrum sound. I can set up a strap, I just don't like them. Well, fair enough. I mean, it does change things, but I noticed when I was doing that video, that one I was doing last night, which I shouldn't have put out, the Floyd Rose thing, really noticing when you hit the strings dead hard, it kind of goes a bit, which is fine if you meant it to do that. I didn't mean it to do that, so I'm just hitting a, just hitting a D, and it's like pure, a wee bit. Obviously, you can work your way around that. Just don't hit a D like that. You hit it in a slightly different way. But Oh. Wicked Game, the cheesy Chris Isaak song. I don't even. I know the name Chris Isaak. I don't know any of his music at all. I've never been a radio listener. Oh no, I was for a wee while. I used to listen to Virgin FM, Virgin AM 1215 when around the time of Cast had a song called Sandstorm blowing in my mind. Da-na-na-na-na-na. That one around that time for a few months. I listened to the radio then and quite enjoyed it. And then later on, when I was working as a removals man, we used to listen to the radio. And I can't remember which cheesy station it was, but it was about the time of Poker Face and all the single ladies and Here's the She-Wolf, whatever that song was. And actually ending up quite liking. I kind of get it. The pop music's kind of designed not necessarily for you to hear it for the first time and pure love it, but to hear it for the first time, not fucking hate it, and then hear it another 10 times in the background and end up liking it. That's a kind of pop music thing, which I've never really been into. I've never listened to the radio apart from on those two separate occasions for, a couple of months at a time. So it's like all the radio hits I know are from the same era as Cast doing Sandstorm, possibly the Seahorses, and the era of all the single ladies. Oh, that one. Depends where you are. Oh. The thing is, if you've got one guitar, would I have a trem on it? I don't know. If you've got more, so many guitars you can't count them, then yeah, have one with a trem on it. See what it goes. It's like, what, you've got 12 guitars and you don't have one with a trem? Maybe it's just 5 springs in the trem. I'm not sure how many number of the springs. It depends on how tense it is. I've had ones that I couldn't get to work before. Even expensive guitars. I had a Yamaha Session series, Japanese one, that I just couldn't get the trem. I could get it to pitch, but see, whenever you bent a string, and I tried different, I bought more stiffer strings to try and sort it, put more in. That whole, when you do that, whenever you bent up that note was no longer that one. It was that one. Because as soon as you bent a note, it pulled the bridge up. I couldn't get past that. Doesn't seem to do it on all of them, just some of them. I like a nice smooth Bigsby where we're not on the same page there. I've not ever really come across a Bigsby apart from once. My pal has a pal Jerry's son in the Smoking Gun. I think they're doing. I'm not sure. They don't have a bass player. I wonder if maybe joining that. But he's got a kind of like a Gretsch White Falcon copy type thing, and it's got a Bigsby on it. And the Bigsby made sense on that guitar. So, oh my god, a Bigsby that I understand why it's there. Put it on a telly. What the fuck? Why would I want to go? You know what I mean? That's even more than a Bigsby does. Don't get it. But on that big fucking massive acoustic sized electric, it made sense. Don't like them. A Shadows moment. No, but you must have Sloan Engine. I'm sure you're the same with me. The Shadows got up here. Oh, I've got a Strat that works. I'll try and play some Shadows, and then my God, Hank Marvin's really good at that. It's not easy to do the Shadow stuff. I got to the stage of it's like. It's fucking hard, really hard, and because it's clean, you can't make any mistakes. Really difficult. Really struggle with the Shadow stuff. But I mean, might have been one of my earliest ever introductions to what an electric guitar was. Why I always thought an electric guitar was a Strat, and I didn't know they were made of wood. That seemed silly to me. Tremolo is like brown sauce. I would use more of it if no one else is in the restaurant. Wow. Not everyone knows Wicked Game. I might know if you played it to me, John. The Ventures. I don't like brown sauce. You can have mine. Catch you later, Papa Blue. I'm going to give up soon. I'm kind of making my last mouthful of mucky last a bit. I know I'm going to end a wee bit early. I just half 11. That's fine. I mean, it is a full. Oh no, I mean yes. When you get a Floyd Rose that works. I don't know whether you could guarantee whether a Floyd Rose works. I mean, the thing is, the thing that I've got with a Floyd Rose or any trem system, it's a trust issue more than anything else. That I trust to return to pitch. So that's the thing. Whether it does or not, it's not. I trust that it will. So even if it doesn't, I play through it, but they do return to pitch because you're looking at a Japanese fucking guitar. I mean, it's like precision is all about it. The Japanese are Klingons, basically. You know, honor and all that. It's like they wouldn't put out a guitar that wasn't perfect. That's what I was looking at this. It's like the saddles weren't right on the bridge, and I was looking at it going like, those saddles are at a funny angle. That can't be the original bridge, and it wasn't. It's like because there's a gap between the saddles. That's not a Japanese guitar. That that sort of thing, kind of ridiculous. I use tremolo effects. See, I don't use tremolo at all. I don't get it. I maybe need to spend more time with one guitar and play it. I can't get it. It's easier to play Shadow and dance like Hank at the same time. I'm sure it does. But one of my first tapes, when I got my first Walkman, which must have been about 1986, because the first first album I ever bought was Michael Jackson's Bad. But the first tape I ever had when I got the Walkman, it was my dad had on one side it was 20 Golden Greats by the Beach Boys and 20 Golden Greats by the Shadows, and that's basically 40 banging super tunes that have molded where I am today. And it's like you're sitting going, up here, I don't like Oasis, up here, no, it's because it's shite. Oh, what sort of music have you heard? The Shadows, 20 Golden Greats, banging start to finish. Beach Boys, 20 Golden Greats, banging start to finish. No arguing. We get there. Old school amp treble. I don't know if I haven't had an amp with tremolo. I don't know if I've ever had an amp with tremolo on it. I've had a couple of tremolo pedals and stuff, and it's like the first time I put one on, actually, I nearly fell over because it was like obviously what do you do when you get a new pedal? Turn everything up full, and because it was going nick nick nick, it was like kind of it kind of messed with my balance a bit. Sat in front of the record player learning the Ventures. I see the Ventures. I don't think were ever big over here. I think the Ventures were basically, I don't know who was first. Maybe they were before the Shadows. I know they did big in Japan and they did big in America, but in Britain, I mean, I'm talking about 30 years before I was, or 20 years before I was born, they were big in Britain. So the Shadows, Hank Marvin and the Shadows, FBI and Foot Tapper and all those things, even though I can't remember what any of those songs are. As soon as you play one note, all right, that one, and Apache, fucking great. I don't really know the Ventures. Some of those 50s, 60s instrumentals sound amazing because they had to work with all they had. Pure talent. There's a bit of that, yes, totally. The Hot Rod. First guitarist I remember was sitting up 11 was Shaken All Over by Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, which my dad used to listen to. Shaken All Over. I know that from The Who covered it. I don't know. First guitar song. One of the very early ones for me would have been Live and Let Die. Like from the film Live and Let Die. But that's been that. Woo! Yeah, fucking yes. It's still, if you remind me, was it what's your favourite top 10 songs of all time? If I didn't put Live and Let Die in that top 10, I forgot about it. It's in my top 10, always. Real talent, don't need Machuca Chew, Alvin Stardust. I don't really remember Alvin Stardust. I know what he looks like. I know he used to sing with holding the mic like that or something funny with a glove on, but don't really remember it. I never liked any of the music that was on Top of the Pops. I'll tell you the first time I ever watched Top of the Pops when I thought I was into music. It was probably about the same time as I bought my first Walkman. Or it wasn't a Walkman, it was a copy of a Walkman. With the tapes that I had, which were Bad, the Beach Boys and Shadows copied tape on either side, and Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms came out around, was kicking about around about that time. No, that was a wee bit later. That was 6 months later when I got that and Rainbow Greatest Hits, even though I didn't know it was Rainbow Greatest Hits. I thought it was Iron Maiden. Just because my dad had demolished a restaurant and found a box of tapes and went, here, box of tapes. We're going to demolish this restaurant. Here's a box of tapes. And these were copied tapes, copied over something else. So it was like Tipex on it with fucking writing on it. Top of the Pops was shit by the time you started watching. Possibly the first time I watched it was the Pet Shop Boys with Always on My Mind was last week's number one. Dun, 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 dun. I thought it was fucking great. So I never saw Top of the Pops before that. No, it was whatever that was. And even then, I don't even remember. I was always kind of aware that I thought I liked the heavy metal thing because I had that Rainbow Greatest Hits, which I didn't think was Rainbow. And then I remember Def Leppard were on. I was like, oh, cool. We've got guitars and all that. That's pure great. And it was fucking awful. Like, oh my God, there's a song called Slang. Like, they look pure cool, like they're going to be pure rocking and all that. And you've got to remember at this point, I was aware of Gates of Babylon, which is my favourite song on that Rainbow tape. And Since You've Been Gone, All Night Long, fucking Long Live Rock and Roll, Kill the King. All these things were on it, you know what I mean? And then even when Guns N' Roses became a thing, when everyone was going, oh, listen, that's pure heavy metal. And it was like, Sweet Child of Mine. Like that, call me Mr. Brownson. That's not. Oh, I was listening to this Slash guitar solo. At this point, I was fucking listening to Richie Blackmore. I didn't know I was listening to Rainbow, but it was like didn't do anything for me. I like the Pet Shop Boys. They did a. I don't dislike the Pet Shop Boys. Some of it probably. Don't know. I do remember getting for my birthday from my Aunt Shirley, getting a Pet Shop Boys record. And I think it was the first record. That might have been the first record I ever had, actually. And a big poster of a white Lamborghini Countach. I loved the big white poster, and the Pet Shop Boys I didn't like. It did have, was it Domino Dancing? I didn't like that. I didn't like the album. I couldn't listen to all of it. I liked one song, and I kind of went off that a wee bit. But not the Hollies. Oh, Orinoco Flow. No, I remember that. Ha ha. I remember that being on Top of the Pops. Yes, I remember quite liking that. Enya, yeah, totally. I didn't like the second song she did. I liked that one, but she did another one which is the same, and it was like, no. It's the same, all the same sounds, but with a shit tune. Whatever the second one was. Yes, I remember that. Do you have necks growing out of your carpet? How drunk are you? Well, those ones there, those are full guitars. I'll tell you, that's a better guitar collection that most people have. That's an Aria TSB bass, an Ibanez Blazer, Joachim's gone to bed, a Washburn Force 8, and a Washburn Force 2. So, I mean, that's just a fucking slab of Japanese goodness sitting there. There's people who are mad into guitars who have 20 that don't have a guitar as good as that. Any of them? Oh. Pet Shop Boys Pain Out. I don't know that one. I don't know that much. I love the old Grey Whistle Test. Have you ever seen the Harry Enfield and Paul Whitehouse? They did they did their own sketch show. YouTube it. And they do a thing called, they were talking about it's like a sketch about the old Grey Whistle Test, and it's the old Grey Wrinkled Testicle or something. Is that pure? We had this great idea, but we're going to have this new music show that's all going to be live music, and it's going to be exciting and in your face. And I was like, so we said, no, it's going to be dull. And it's really funny, and it shows you it's basically like the Fast Show or something like that. Yeah, it's worth looking up. Harry and Paul Old Grey Whistle Test on YouTube. It's fucking so accurate. But I mean, yeah, I remember the Old Grey Whistle Test, but only on a program that was called Sounds of the 70s, which I think it was on during the day when I first got a video recorder. I remember setting the timer on the video recorder to record it while I was at school, because it was on at like fucking lunchtime or something. And that's where I heard Deep Purple, Black Knight, Moody Blues, Question of Balance, not question, but a question. Focus, Hocus Pocus. All these have been really fucking amazing stuff. Oh. Auntie's buying records is always dangerous. Ask for Transvision Vamp. New Kids on the Block instead. I remember Transvision Vamp. I don't remember what they sounded like. I remember liking oh 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 that. So but I don't know when that was. You can put an age on that for me. I was born in 78, so when was that song out? I remember liking that. I didn't know anything about music. I didn't know what was cool, but I thought that was a cool, catchy. I used to sing it. Yeah. $1989. Okay, so I was 1988. Right, so I was 10. Yeah, didn't know that. Hey, what do you think of Pantera as a band? I saw them. I'm sure they're great. I saw Dimebag Darrell live in 1998 at Ozfest in Milton Keynes, and he's totally worthy of all the praise he gets. I don't remember anything he played, but he was cool as fuck. He came on stage and it was like the whole place went, oh, and he was just the ultimate showman. It's like it's one of those things I don't really. If I've listened to music, I don't really get it. I don't understand. But you see Dimebag Down, you go, yes. I reckon I knew him from like guitar magazines and shit, or maybe not even guitar. I knew him from somewhere. I knew the name, and I knew he was meant to be cool. And I was like, let's see what he's all about. And he was fucking amazing. But no, I don't know any Pantera songs. None. I've heard some. None of them have been good enough to stick in my head for me to remember what they actually sounded like. Same Slayer, same a lot of music like that. It's just like, it's all right. It's not my thing. No, Dimebag's Tragedy. That was fucking shocking. Someone just went and shot him. Oh, don't think we listen to Pantera. Actually, I don't even know any of their songs. I obviously have listened to them. I've heard their songs, but none of them stuck in my head. So don't remember it. Shite. I'm sorry, that's just the way my head works. I mean, like, I've got, I don't know, 1,500 records or something like that. And it's like, even the ones that I bought myself and no one else knows about, some of them, yeah, I know I've got it. Spooky Tooth, fucking, so many bands, you just go, I don't remember it, so it must be shit. Really. And then some bands came out of that, your Camels and Caravan, where the side of the record I listened to first had something that made me go, oh, what's that? Whereas a lot of music I listened to just went, meh, next. Cowboys from Hell, I knew that was it. Hey Jeff, how's it going? Remember all these songs? I don't know. I just feel that, I mean, I've never liked the music that was kicking about at my time. I remember when I first started being, I don't know, when did Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit come out? I remember that and thinking, oh, there's a music I like. And then it wasn't long after that I heard the Stones and Nirvana went, fuck that, Paint It Black, Nervous Breakdown, Under My Thumb. We're all miles better than anything I've heard of Nirvana, even though I had the album. So I just kind of liked what I liked. Cemetery Gates, I don't know that one. I don't know. I know. I mean, when I say I know Cowboys from Hell, I know there's a song called Cowboys from Hell or an album. Same as I know there's a Slayer album called Rain and Blood. It's not super catchy because I don't remember it, even though I've seen Slayer twice. I don't remember it. I don't know the sound. Kind of sound like a sort of Motorhead a wee bit, maybe, but not as catchy. Yeah, so I'm going to give up anyway. I've got to get up tomorrow. Go and build a fucking pergola for Jen. I'm going to be hungover, but at least I've forced myself to eat 2 dinners before tonight, so I'm not that drunk. So I shouldn't be that ill tomorrow. Supposed to call it. There you go. What time is it anyway? That's nearly midnight. That's fine. Catch you later, boss. Catch you later, everyone. Slow Ranger was some great bands in the 90s. I don't know. I mean, I get subjected to so many bands in the 90s because I used to hang about with a big group of folks. And I mean, say like Oasis. I knew of Oasis 6 months before that first album, before the first single came out, and I fucking hated them before they came out, and all of that in Spiral Carpets and fucking all the Britpop stuff. It was all crap. Supergrass and Cast had some musical merit, but all the rest of it, just fuck off. Just crap. Not interested. I don't know what TC Boss means. Yes, so night. Catch you all later. Night Squire. It's not a Squire. This is a proper guitar. Squire. I do actually own a couple of Squires, but I mean, yeah. Cooler Shaker. I saw them. They supported Neil Young when I saw them. So in that way, better than Pantera because I can sing one of their songs. Never thought they were great though. Go to the cat. Most people don't remember. There you go. Drink a pint of water. I might do. Yeah. I'm not. I mean, just because I had a Rustler burger and a ham and something potato melt thing. So I've had plenty enough. Squires, yeah. I spell it differently, yeah. Right. Rock on. Thanks, everyone. Love you all. Expect to see a couple of videos of this for the next couple of days because I've done one or two. You get to hear it properly because I'm aware that it sounds like I've got a phaser on this. It's good enough for voices, but not any. I can't really demo a guitar live because the bandwidth just goes. Anyhow, so rock on. Thanks everyone for joining. If you haven't spiked a like before you go, if you could, that would be super awesome. And I love you all. And I've obviously got to press another button. Mwah!